Ian McKellen, he put his soul in that line.
He did not have to go that hard.
Yeah. Because I didn't realize he said it because I'd only seen that line, right? So I didn't realize that he said it like a few times before that line where he was like, "You shall not pass. You shall not pass." And then he whips, he fucking shall not pass. He parries this attack and then he drops that banger line. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, me. The goosebumps, I'm shaking, man. Holy shit.
Such a good scene.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Trash Taste. I'm your host for today, Garnt. Joining me once again are the boys. Joey, wake the up, Joey. Wake the There's a coffee right there, Joey.
First of all, swearing. Second of all, I'm not the only one. Do you know how many episodes I've seen open up where Connor's just yawning? So I don't want to hear it.
I power up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited today.
I'm very excited.
When I started playing JRPGs, I thought, you know what? This is really fun because I get to talk about something that I never thought I'd be able to talk about.
Yeah.
And it was fun seeing those conversations come around. So I thought we should do an episode where we actually watch or play the other things that we were never, ever going to play.
Or that we've been delaying.
Yeah, so we forced ourselves to get our fellow co-hosts.
We forced each other.
We forced each other to, we forced each other to watch, play, or even read or listen to some of the media and some of the entertainment that we've been talking about for a very, very long time, because that's the only way we can actually go out and do our own thing.
So basically how this worked is, so if we were deciding what Joey should watch, read, play, or whatever, me and Garnt would decide on 4 things that Joey had to consume for at least 1 hour so that we could talk about it. So we all consumed 4 different things, but some of us did the same thing. So I think
don't say consumed. Don't say
it's consumed.
Consumed just sounds so bad.
It's consumed.
You consume it.
We consumed it.
So
ate it up.
Here's
would
the list.
you really want to say you consumed some of like the greatest pieces of media?
Yeah, I consumed. So for example, you know what we should do? We should say the 4 things that we were all given.
All right.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out how to go and approach this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Joe, what did you get given?
So I was given a lot to watch. 2 to watch, 1 to play, 1 to read.
Okay.
So the one I read was Domestic Girlfriend.
Yes.
I wonder who suggested that one.
Connor was like, Joey needs to read Domestic Girlfriend.
And then I
fuck off. I also had to read Domestic Girlfriend.
So I was given to read Domestic Girlfriend. I was given to play, of course, Fear and Hunger.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, same with Garnt.
Yes.
And I was forced to watch the first episodes of Breaking Bad.
Yes.
And
Joey and
Arcane.
Yes.
Yes.
So
nice.
so we're going to be talking about that later on. Connor, what were you forced to read, watch, play?
Listen. Okay, first of all, I have a problem with the word play because I was given a visual novel. I didn't play shit.
You played
Which visual novel?
Sayonara Eri.
Yep.
Yes.
That was
Song
me
of
and
Saya.
Garnt's combined effort for that one.
Never heard of this fucking thing. Sayonara Eri.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I've listened to the whole album.
Yeah.
You can guess whose request that was. And Domestic Girlfriend.
Okay.
I read 40 chapters of Domestic Girlfriend.
Holy shit. Okay.
Damn, all right.
Damn. Okay.
I didn't get that far.
I wish I didn't. We'll talk about that. Garnt?
All right. Well, I got forced to watch and play a lot of things. So, of course, Joey just mentioned Fear and Hunger as well. What else did I watch? I played Cuphead as well. That was Connor's request. He wanted me to play a gamer game.
Good choice.
Gamer game. I had to watch. Okay, so they requested that I watched the first 3 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
But honestly, that was more of a we're not sure what the last thing should be. So I sat down and I just had a brainwave. And even though it was more than an hour, I thought you boys would enjoy this reaction more. So I watched the first movie of Lord of the Rings.
Hey,
I watched the Fellowship of the Ring.
Damn, you're committed.
Yeah. I was committed. I was like,
nice.
I think this would work better than Avatar: Last Airbender, even though it was 3 hours instead of 1 hour. So that was as long as all the other things I did.
Yep.
And of course, I watched Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the first 4 episodes.
He finally did
the
it.
first 4 episodes of it.
Oh my god! So obviously, there's a lot of shows and games and stuff like that have been massive memes in the Trash Taste lore that are, I guess, finally going to come to rest.
Yeah, exactly. And we can finally talk about it. And here we did something special for this episode. So we actually filmed our reaction in its entirety for everything that we watch, play, listen to, whatever. So for you Patreons, you can watch like the full reactions to everything. And what do we want to start off with?
We should start with Fear and Hunger. I want to hear you guys' full
Fear and Hunger?
Fear and Hunger. Okay, we start off with Fear and Hunger.
And there is a lot of PPs in that game. You might have noticed.
Yes.
So if you
We didn't download the mods.
if you wanna watch this episode with all of those reactions like fully in the episode, you can go do so over our Patreon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it'll be a lot
Trash
longer, way longer than this one. The director's edition, you can say.
This is the Snyder cut.
So if you want to go over and watch that with all the reactions as we're talking about it, go over the Patreon. It's going to be there, and it's going to be good.
Yeah, patreon.com/Trash Taste.
Link in description.
Yeah, so
Fear and Hunger. Yes, I'm so happy that both you guys played this.
Yeah.
First of all,
I could feel your excitement when I loaded it up.
All right. First of all, tell me just tell me everything.
You look like a giddy little kid right
Just
now.
tell me everything.
okay, well, at least with me,
Okay, first of all, I don't know. Who did you pick? Who did you pick? Who's your character?
I chose 3 characters.
Chose 3?
Bro!
Yeah.
Wait. You had an hour, Joey. How the fuck did you have time to pick 3?
Bro, I died every 5 minutes. And I'm like, this game is ass.
So allow me to, I'm sure all of you know, I'm obsessed with this game called Fear and Hunger. Basically, the plot, the premise of the game is that you enter the dungeon.
Yeah.
And each one of the characters that you choose, which is not explained at all, it's like you pick a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You pick a character and they have their own reason for wanting to enter the dungeon.
Yeah.
And you are loosely explained this through the starting kind of game almost. Because your choices matter right away from the get-go.
Yep.
Yeah.
As you might have found out.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was just following my heart. So I picked the last person. I forgot the actual name is the Berserker or whatever.
Ragnavold?
Yeah, I forgot
Ragnavold.
what his class was.
It's the Outlander.
The Outlander.
Oh, okay,
that
that's
is
the
it.
only character I didn't pick.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
have 2 completely different playthroughs.
Which difficulty did you pick?
I picked Fear and Hunger. I was
Yeah, I wasn't going to do any other one.
I saw the harder difficulty and I was like, all right, for this game, I don't mind being a pussy.
So you picked the easiest of the
easiest.
Yes, the easiest.
And it was not easy. And it was not easy.
No,
at all.
no. I was like, oh, okay, this is like the easier difficulty. All right, let's pick it. I thought it'd be a little bit easier.
I boot up the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there's a backstory to this all. And this sets the tone pretty early on because the first thing you have to choose is like you're fucking stranded or something. And you have to choose whether you want to cannibalize people or not to survive.
Yeah.
And what did you pick, Joey?
So my
his characters don't have.
Yeah,
that.
my characters.
Your characters don't have
so
that?
So one thing I've noticed.
shit.
Yeah, so this is why I was glad I played different characters.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Because the way that each of the characters' stories even begin is completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the case with is it the Necromancer? I forgot which one it was.
Enki, the priest.
The priest, yeah, the priest, for example, where you like the structure of the dungeon is just different from the beginning.
Really?
Yeah. So that's when I was like, because I played the first 2 characters and I was like, okay, the map like seems pretty much the same, like in both entrances. So I was like, okay, I can kind of figure out where I'm going because I've already died 5 times here.
Yeah.
But then when I played the 3rd character, I was like, wait, this looks nothing like the other 2 characters at all.
So there's 3. I think 3 or 2 different layouts that the map can be.
Yeah.
At least the starting area. The rest of the game is all the same, but the starting areas. Well, it's not starting, but the castle area has like 3 layouts, I think, that are random.
Yes.
Yeah. So you just randomly got.
I guess I just randomly
And
got
all the
them,
items are always random as well.
Yes, I noticed that as well. Yeah.
So you can't go to like the same barrel and get the same item.
Oh,
It's
really?
always
Yeah.
different every run.
Oh, shit.
Because I remember like I was playing as the priest guy and I got like a bunch of like really sick equipment which he couldn't equip because it's a different like class. But JRPG player, I was like, okay, I get that, it's whatever, I'll just hold on to it just in case and I'll remember it for when I play as like the other like more melee characters.
Yeah.
I die. I start my new game up again, but with a melee character this time, and I'm like, all right, I know exactly where like I remember exactly where like the meat cleaver was. I remember where like the helmet was, and I go there, and it's like you got 5 torch boxes. I'm like, what the fuck? It's randomized.
Yeah, it's all totally random.
It's all random. Yeah.
Oh, it's all random.
Random.
Every run's different.
Yeah.
All right. So I loaded up a game. I've only played one character, and I'm wondering how much of the game you experienced, Joey, because if you changed character every time you died, I died every like 5 minutes.
Oh no, I did too. Okay. I tried each character three or 4 times each. I'd say.
Right.
Until I basically did it enough times where I'm like, okay, maybe I just picked the wrong character.
Could you walk me through like the first 5 minutes of your run?
First 5 minutes, of my run.
I guess the first run.
Yeah, the very first one. Load up the game, make the first choices. The only thing I really remember from the first choices was, do I eat this person? Because it was such a visceral visceral choice you had to make.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe the game would make it easier if I cannibalize this person. I'm gonna choose not to. Maybe something good will happen out of that. I can't remember exactly every other choice that I made from the beginning, but I remember getting the ability. I think it was Bloodlust or something like that. Yeah. And so I was like, cool, I got a free ability out of the choices I made. So immediately I load up the game, I go in the dungeon, and immediately you get hit by this fucking terrifying atmosphere. It just, everything about it. The first thing I did actually was try to go out through the mist, because I was like,
get me out of here.
Because I was like, wait, I've seen this horror movie before. Yeah. You go the opposite way, but obviously you can't run away. You need to go in the dungeon. Yeah. And then I immediately get ambushed by one of the guards after just walking around.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'm going to try using my ability, Bloodlust or whatever it is. Maybe that'll power me up and get me through my first fight. So I used Bloodlust. Doesn't seem to do anything. He walks closer and then beats the shit out of me, and I die. And that was like, well, that didn't last long at all. Also, I thought, okay, so there's this coin flip mechanic. Right? Yeah. And I didn't know about this. I mean, you briefly talked about this. I didn't know how often it came up. Yeah. So I thought, okay, this just shows what my playthrough was like, right? Yeah. I lost about 6 coin flips in a row. I thought, so I immediately die. I try again, lose the coin flip, immediately die, and then every coin flip I had for the first like half an hour, I lost. So I thought I was doing something wrong.
You thought it was a scripted event?
I thought it was like I thought I had to like unlock some game mechanic to be like, all right, now you can win the coin flip. No, it just turns out I lost about 6 50-50s in a row.
I think I lost like 12 in a row one time.
Oh shit.
That's a real gacha gamer move.
Yeah. I was like, where the fuck is my gacha luck?
See, because for me with the coin flips, I was actually getting pretty lucky at the beginning. I think I won like 4 or 5 in a row. Especially against like the giant guard, for instance.
Yeah, what did you think of his design?
No. So I was gonna say, like, for me, when I was fighting against the guard for the first time, right? The coin flip was the least of my worries.
Yeah.
Because, I was like, I learned from the first couple of enemies, like the disgusting jellyfish monster guy, that I was like, oh, okay, so
disgusting jellyfish monster.
You didn't see the guy?
No.
Okay.
He's like at the beginning.
I'll explain.
But anyway, so as I was, the first couple of rounds, as I was actually getting into combat first couple of times, I remember John's video where I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Each like individual limb can also attack.
Right.
So instead of like, because I was like going for the head and kept missing, so I was like, okay, let me like get rid of the limbs first.
Yeah.
So when the big like guard guy came, and in his one hand, I think he has like the giant weapon, I was like, I'm getting rid of that first.
Yeah.
Because that just seems like a bad idea. And then I cut off all of his limbs, and I was like, why am I still getting hit? And then I realized, oh, his cock is attacking me. Because I thought I didn't even see the cock until I cut his legs off, and I was like, I thought I cut. Oh. Like, I knew the game had a lot of like phallic imagery in it.
Yeah.
And it does, obviously in the backgrounds and stuff, but like I was like, I didn't think it was gonna be like that blatant. Like,
Oh yeah.
like it was like, oh, that's a schlong right there, and it's attacking me.
Wait. What is? Can you show me a picture of this jellyfish guy?
You did. I know why you didn't see him, Garnt.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I think I can explain what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, because I fought him like every single run, and he was probably one of the easier guys.
Okay, no, I
this
didn't
guy.
see that.
Okay.
No.
So to you know, because I love hearing you guys not know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to give you a bit of backstory, basically every character, as you know, you did 3 characters in your character. You're presented with basically the reason why your character is heading to this dungeon.
Yeah.
So Ragnarvold,
He wants revenge.
He wants revenge because
Yeah.
Legard, who to explain the story, it's Berserk.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Berserk the game.
Legard is Griffith.
Yeah.
And Ragnarvold was basically his family was murdered by Griffith's or Legard's men as they attacked his village. So he wants revenge. So he goes in and obviously he gets on this boat and then unfortunately doesn't make it very far and you have to start. You can either cannibalize or you don't.
Yeah.
So with that choice, as far as I remember, the benefit to cannibalizing is that you unlock the ability where you can basically, if you kill an enemy, you can just eat them and regain health.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't think there's any downside to taking it. It is actually just kind of annoying because you can accidentally cannibalize someone and not loot their items. And then you can't get the items again.
So you have to loot first.
You
and
have to
then
loot, yeah. It's
cannibalize. Right.
So but anyway, so that's his reasoning. And all of those choices matter. So Bloodlust. So unfortunately, Garnt, Ragnarvold is the worst one of all the characters. He has by far the worst kit in the game. He seems like he should be badass.
Fucking
but he kind of just sucks.
Great.
And every other character that Joey chose is good.
Oh yeah, good.
It's kind of like there's like one that's A, two that are B, and then there's F, which is Ragnarvold. Because his kit is totally useless.
Garnt, don't worry. I probably didn't do that much better than you, to be honest.
So Ragnarvold's reason he's going in there to confront him, and then Darce, who's the knight, which you played as.
Yes, he was good.
It's a girl, actually.
Oh, okay.
And
She was good.
basically, she's Casca. So she fell in love with Legard and wants to know why Legard kind of like fucked off. So she's going to the dungeon to find Legard. And then obviously Enki is a priest who wants more knowledge, wants to learn more about the dungeon itself as opposed to Legard. But obviously there's something weird happening in this dungeon. And then the mercenary wants to pay off his debts because his wife is currently a prostitute.
I think the mercenary I got the furthest with.
He's got like probably the nicest kit to work with.
Yeah.
But there's also like so the game is really punishing, as you found out.
Yes.
And it doesn't tell you anything.
No.
So one thing, for example, that it doesn't tell you, which I don't understand why it doesn't tell you, because this one just doesn't make sense to me, is that you might have noticed on the coin flips, there's actually like a ×2 in the corner. You actually start with 2 lucky coins, which allow you to flip an additional coin if you hold down shift.
See, I didn't even see the ×2.
I thought that was the amount of coins I had.
Yeah,
or
that's
something
what I
like
thought.
that.
So you'll always be able to do the coin flip.
Right.
But you can actually like flip another coin to do it twice.
Double
but
that.
obviously, it only
That would have helped for Garnt.
Only increases your odds to 75, so it's not perfect. And you only, these are rare pickups. So you have to really save them. And obviously, when every enemy in the game is doing a coin flip, you're like, all right, now this is kind of getting a little worrying.
Yeah.
But then, as Jerry mentioned, the combat is kind of interesting with the guard, right? Like, it's a perfect example of why I think the game is so cool in this way, is that the guard, right? He has maybe has a mace in one hand, a cleaver in one hand, and
a schlong.
So how do you kill him, right? His schlong attacks too. So the only way to reliably kill people is to chop both their legs and then go for the head. Yeah. Because the accuracy, if you go for the head, is so low that it's like a 1 in 10. So you might hit
I didn't know that.
So you might hit their head. But obviously, if you're going to hit someone in the head, if they have no legs, hitting them in the head becomes a freebie.
Yeah.
You might have noticed when you got rid of his legs that an exclamation mark appeared above his head, which means that the headshot is like, it's good to go for.
Oh, no, I didn't get that at all.
Oh, okay. So you can do that. But obviously, here's the problem, right? And this is where it's just such a simple design concept, but it's so genius that like, so he has a cleaver and a mace in one hand. But to kill him quickly, you got to get rid of his legs.
Yeah.
But if he gets a hit on you with the cleaver, you permanently lose your arm. And
Yeah,
there's
I
no way.
noticed that.
There's no way to get it back.
Yeah.
There is a way to get it back. It's a little.
Let's assume there's no way to get it back.
There's in an average run, there's no way to get it back.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much having to play around. I do not want to lose my arm.
Yeah.
Or because if he hits you with the mace, he crushes your bones.
Yeah.
Which makes you take more damage or do less damage. It's one of the other ones. Or maybe So now it's like you're like, oh my god, I want to kill this guy quick, but I don't want to die. And healing items are like non-existent. So if you die or take damage, the max healing item is like, it's like a 20 heal. So like getting even hit once is bad. And then on top of that, if you lose a coin flip, you'll be lucky if you survive it. But if you do survive it, you're probably so low health that it becomes really hard to play the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm ranting on a bit here. So that's stuff that the game, all of this is not explained at all.
No, I mean,
which makes it kind of cool.
I like that part.
Okay.
I definitely like that part about the game, that it is just like, you know, because like the first couple of runs I went into, I was treating it more as like a JRPG, but then very quickly I found out it is not that. Which is cool. But then at the same time I had that like level of appreciation of the game, I was also like, oh, that means that this game is literally RNG hell.
It's all about playing around RNG. But you can be prepared by, I guess, just having to unfortunately just play the game a bunch.
Yeah, exactly.
But so one of the things that I thought was so cool right away, and Garnt fell for this, is that you're immediately in this courtyard, right? And what do? You go forward. You see the gate. And the reason you didn't see the amoebas is because Joey went to the left.
I went to the left side.
There was a little storage, little hole thing
next to the dead horse.
That looks like a kind of like alleyway. If you can show it.
I totally missed that.
And what the game is trying to tell you without telling you is like, look, it's too dangerous to keep going into the castle. This is the courtyard. Maybe like the Fear and Hunger style.
I got there. This is the furthest I got.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's so.
Did you ever go into the gate then, Joey?
The one on the right?
No. The
top
main,
one?
the main.
Yeah. I got in there. I also got into the door on the right with a talisman I picked up.
Fuck, I did not go anywhere but like the top.
So type in Fear and Hunger start screen area.
Yeah, I got to that area.
This. Yeah, open that one. Yeah. So basically the game, it's almost inviting you to go in there.
Yeah.
But very quickly what you realize is that you just cannot go in here. You can, but it's very tough.
I actually got pretty far, I think.
You can, yeah. So you can actually, there is actually if you can get pretty good at it, like dodging enemies. Like you don't actually have to fight enemies, and the way that they work is that they can only move in like blocks. I'm not trying to but you can realize you can dodge around.
This episode is sponsored by Tokyo Treat.
Guys, have you ever wanted to have a taste of Japan, of what we get to eat? Well, thanks to Tokyo Treat, they're inviting you to experience Japan from the comfort of your own homes.
But God, what is Tokyo Treat?
Tokyo Treats is a monthly popped Japanese snack box where you will get up to 20 of the exclusive, limited edition, and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks, including Japanese instant ramen and drinks every single month.
I mean, look how full this box is, and every box comes with a cultural guide booklet containing Japanese cultural information, an explanation of each of the snacks, like the flavor profiles, ingredients, and even allergen information.
Every month, Tokyo Treat has a different theme, and it's usually aligned with the season in Japan or promoting certain Japanese cultural celebrations. This month's theme is the Okinawa Snacking Oasis.
I saw this immediately. Cookies and cream, Kit Kats. I'll give you one.
I don't think I've ever had this flavor, actually.
I've never had this flavor before.
Damn, that's actually really good.
I'm gonna take more.
Those are the Eri sour cream and onion chips.
Yo, those smell amazing.
That's
that's really good.
Oh, it's so
I'm
good.
eating like a king today.
Also, look at this drink here. This is shikwasa soda. Shikwasa is these small little Okinawan fruits.
Oh my God. These are insane.
Ooh, that's actually really good. I mean, honestly, there's so much stuff here that we can't share on camera. You guys have to just experience it for yourself.
So guys, what are you waiting for? Head to tokyotreat.com. That's TOKYOTREAT.com and use code TRASHTASTE at checkout and you get $5 off your first Tokyo Treat order. You should treat yourself today.
I like that.
Back to the episode.
I guess I'll explain my playthrough.
Yeah.
Because I only had one character and I thought this was like, I bashed my head against this area because I was like, this is the only place I need to go. Yeah. Therefore, this is the place, this is what I need to figure out. So I'm going to say this right now, Connor. I really fucking enjoyed this game.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had a great time.
Hell yeah.
Number one, this is like the type of horror that I fucking love, which is like Lovecraftian horror, where it just, every enemy you encounter and everything you see in that castle just screams something that is just outer worldly, that humans just should not understand and should not ever encounter at all. And I fucking love that feeling. I was terrified playing the game.
It's horrifying.
Yes, it's fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
And especially the music as well. The way the music, the fucking, it wasn't even music. It was just sound that just like, it was like fucking brown noise or some shit like that.
Yeah, like, the atmosphere of this game and like the visuals and everything, just like the theming around it is like also something I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But man, I can't say I had a fun playing this.
It's one of those games where like
I just don't have the patience for it.
Yeah, you're like, this is pain, but the more you're like in it, the more you're like, I'm just so sucked into the world.
Yeah. So I wanted to be sucked into the world if I could play it for more than 5 minutes at a time, you know?
So I had like so many little aha moments in my playthrough.
Yeah.
The first part was, of course, figuring out that like after being killed by the guard for about 10 times or some shit. Then I started realizing, instead of trying to use bloodlust, maybe let's like cut off all the limbs first. And then I would eventually get to the point where I would cut off the arm first so he can't like cleave my arm off. And then I would just like RNG it and just go for the head.
Yeah. That's normally a safe way of handling it.
Yeah. I would cut off, I didn't realize this, but can you search up, I don't know how many guards there are in Fear and Hunger.
It's the main one. If you type Fear and Hunger guard,
Fear and Hunger main guard. So can I ask something?
Yeah.
You didn't see the scary version.
Oh, so that was like the version.
That's the normal one.
Yeah, that's the one I fought. Yeah,
that's the one I fought as well. I'm just kind of having this realization now. Is that his dick?
Yeah,
that's his dick.
That's his cock.
Oh my God. I thought.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was his tail.
What? That's his cock.
I was like, oh, his appendage is like shaking or something. I was like, I got to cut off the tail. The tail's doing too much damage. And, so yeah, I would cut off the cleaver, cut off the tail, and then go for the head. And if I get hit, I would basically just restart my run. I'd be like, all right, dead run. Let me try again. But so before I figured that out, I basically just ran past them.
Well, congrats. You figured out the optimal strat of the game.
Yeah.
Which is to avoid fighting.
Yeah. Basically, I would realize that I just had to avoid fighting for as long as possible.
Yeah, but isn't that cool that like the game, it knows that you've been taught to fight everything that comes your way. That's what we do in video games.
Yeah.
And so you have this game that almost never rewards you. You don't get loot. You don't get XP.
Yeah.
There is no reason to ever take a fight.
Yeah.
Like there's literally no, because obviously we're just programmed to get a fight and we get stronger.
Yeah.
But in this game, you are always basically pushed to be like, do not fight. There is zero benefit to fighting unless you're fighting a boss or there are some aspects of the game that need to. But it tries to teach you really early on, like, you don't need to fight. And also it tries to teach you like, all right, look, going through this gate is not working. Why don't you try somewhere else? But if you'd have picked one of the harder modes, so one thing that it's not a spoiler or anything, but one thing that happens if you'd pick even I think one higher up is that you might have noticed the dogs barking. Did you ever fight those dogs?
No.
Okay, well, good, because you're not supposed to beat them. They will actually, in the harder versions, go into the castle and chase you down.
Oh,
but they won't chase you down if you go down the side way.
Right.
So, I don't think telling you any of this is gonna like help you much. It's kind of just pointing you in the right direction. But even then, if I told you like that, it's not gonna affect. You're still gonna have a really hard time because the game again doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
And my first playthrough, which I managed to get to an ending, I pretty much missed like 70% of the game's mechanics.
Yeah.
There was so much of the game I didn't know because it's never explained. And it was only ever like through kind of looking at my playthrough and seeing what other people were doing. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But that was what was really awesome is that I had this whole experience from 20 hours of playing the game. And I thought, good job, Connor, you've done it. You've beaten it. And then I'd missed like half the story. I'd missed half the game mechanics. And I was like, oh, okay. So I went back to play it and I had so much more fun than getting to explore some of the other stuff. I was like, oh, this is fucking cool. Because the universe is so awesome.
Yeah.
Like the lore they've set up.
What were you supposed to do with the girl that you saved from the cage?
That's so that.
So I saved her.
I have no idea.
Okay, so my first run, I got the first character. He learned the skill lock picking, which was really helpful because I managed to like get through doors. The mercenary that can lock pick. And I think it's like my first or second playthrough with the mercenary, I found a girl trapped in a cage, and it was like, oh, I can get her out. Yeah, this girl, I can get her out with my lockpicking skill. I was like, oh, sick, great. So I lockpick it, and then I got her out, and she's like following me now. She's like part of my party. I was like, oh, sick, fuck, yeah. Reinforcements, cool. These will make the fights much easier.
Yeah.
She doesn't do shit. Literally, like, she every time she hits, it's like 0 HP, 0 damage, and she's got like 10 HP herself, and I'm like, what the fuck? I went all the way out of my way to get you out, and you immediately die. So what were you supposed to do with her? Is there like some kind of like complicated shit you have to do with it, or
okay?
Or is it just like a red herring?
I'll give you some surface level stuff because there's a lot to the story that involves her.
Yeah.
But again, this is like how the game goes. You're supposed to beat the game on like a very surface level.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, I feel confident now. Let's go and try and explore a bit more of the story.
Sure. Yeah.
So the one thing that like is the immediate benefit of having her is that she'll take hits.
Yeah. She was basically a meat shield for me. Yeah.
She'll just tank. You know, the story dies if you die.
Yeah.
But if she dies in your party, you just continue on. It's no big deal, right? So that's the immediate benefit. The other benefit, if you had a time to explore a little more of the top level, is that you find a kitchen knife that for some reason is the size of like what a kid can hold.
Okay.
And she will hold that knife.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't do much damage.
Yeah.
But
it's better than 0.
You might have also, did you search the bookshelves at all?
Yes.
Okay, so I was gonna get to that.
Right.
But Joey, were you able to save?
Okay. Once.
You were able to save once.
I saved once as the mercenary, which I think was the furthest I ever got.
Okay,
The second time I was playing as the priest guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I lost the coin toss, and then the torture guy found me, and then I got tortured to death.
Yeah. So
which was fucking horrifying.
So the exact same thing happened to me as well. So I remember like the aside from like killing the guard for the first time, the very first aha moment that I got was tried saving. And I was like, okay, I lost the coin flip. I'm getting tortured to death. I have all my legs and arms chopped off. This is bad.
And he cuts his dick off as well.
Yeah, and the dick. And it's always the fucking dick. I don't know what it is about this game. I'm fucking cutting dicks off, but it is always the dick. But I remember, so at least in my playthrough, there was the room with the bed in it, and then there was this guy who was like running away from the torturer.
So Humphrey, I think.
So Humphrey or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. So instead of saving, I basically went up a bit more. So I had this cutscene where I went to this room and like I heard footsteps. Right? And then it gave me the option to be like, what do you want to do? Do you want to run away? Do you want to ambush? Or do you want to just hide?
I got that as well, yes.
Yeah, so I ambushed.
Oh, okay, I hid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking pussy. You take the fight always. No. Because if you ambushed, what would have happened is that you would have ambushed the torturer. Right?
Oh.
So I was like, fucking great. You fucking, you kill him, and he's like defenseless as well. He's like one of the easiest.
It's a free fight.
Right.
Yeah, the easiest enemy I fought in the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could kill you fast, or I could go straight for the head. And I'm like, nah. I'm going for every single limb. I'm going for every single limb. And it felt so fucking good.
Damn.
And then you behead him, and so you kill him. And so I was like, I wonder if this gives me a free save, right?
Yeah.
So I was like shitting myself because I was like, okay, I'm going to try and save now. And then I saved and it didn't give me a coin flip. And I was like, holy fucking shit, I have a free save. This is gonna save me so much. I checked the time. 5 minutes of progress.
Yeah.
I was like creaming myself over making 5 minutes of progress in the game.
Yeah.
But eventually, like I found a scalpel in another room, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. This is useless to me. I can't, because I couldn't use it as a weapon. So then I explored the bookshelves as well, and I was like, I feel like I should do a pro gamer move and read. Yeah. And so I started reading. And by reading these random books, some of them were like alchemy spells that I'm sure meant nothing to me. Yeah. And then one of them was like, okay, you can use the scalpel to skin enemies and then make a fucking skin cloak from your enemies to hide your smell. So I was like, holy shit, okay.
Right.
So I had already beaten 2 guards. So it gave me the option to skin them and this sounds fucking horrific, by the way. It gave me the option to skin them if I kill 2 of them, which luckily I had. And basically, so I could just walk around undetected by every other guard. So
I actually didn't even know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I know a lot about the game and I didn't know that.
Which is...
Wait, that's sick.
Yeah. So I made like a skin cloak out of the guards that I killed. So that way, even if I didn't have a torch, if I was like... Unless you were like right next to the guard, they just wouldn't notice you. So I got free reign to just explore that entire area.
Right.
And I got like all the way to like, okay, so this is going back to when I kept getting killed. So sometimes when I got killed by the guards, they would like chop my legs off and I would wake up in this fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I did that, yeah.
Like, it was like waking up in fucking like...
In a womb.
Yeah, in a vagina or something. You've just been birthed and you're just like fucking crawling around.
Yes.
You're like crawling around.
It was fucking nasty.
And you're like, kill me, please. But I was eventually, thanks to the skin cloak, I was eventually able to get to that area with like my legs intact and just explore further in the castle. And then I hit another bed, and then I was like, all right, let's try saving this. Died, and I was like, all right, the hour's up. That feels like a good place to stop. But it got to the point where I felt like I was making progress in the game. Just like naturally without the game telling me anything. It was just like me discovering these mechanics by myself.
Yeah, it kind of wants you to save and then just start going like and trying stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that thing you were too scared to try earlier. Well, you have a save like 2 minutes ago. Why don't you try it? See if you die. Like, see what happens. And pick up this information.
Yeah.
It wants you to read the books. The books tell you a lot about like what's going on. And allow you to kind of piece together what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And obviously you kind of figure out, as you kind of explained, you need to keep going deeper and deeper in this dungeon to find out what's really going on. And obviously when you go into that like dead body room, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
I mean, the courtyard was the one that fucked me up as well. Like, I'd walk outside and it's like, oh, there's a bunch of people being naked and hung. That's lovely.
Oh, that I've completely blanked my mind with that. But it made me...
And then I walked... so the furthest I got was I got through that courtyard and I managed to open the door, even though for some reason when I went there the first time around, I couldn't open the gate for whatever reason. But this time I managed to get in.
Yeah.
And then... on the other side of the door, what awaits? A bunch of dudes dressed in black, sacrificing something to the Lord or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's happening here? I talked to one of them and he immediately killed me. So
it's kind of funny because I think when Undertale came out, that required you to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
And so I think it made a lot of people think like, if there's a talk mechanic in the game, that must be the key to figuring out the game.
Yeah.
It is absolutely not the case.
No, it's
Fear and
not.
Hunger.
Okay.
There are occasionally enemies where talking to them is what you need to do, but it's so rarely that it's kind of genius in a way where it's like you're always on edge. So you don't want to talk to someone because they could get a free hit on you.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there is the time when you have to talk to someone and you're like, fuck, I need to figure out based on all the clues when that is. But it's so punishing and unforgiving that you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But it feels so unbelievably satisfying when you figure something out, like the skin cloak.
Yeah.
Because you're like, holy shit, this is so fucking unfair. I just figured something out.
Yeah.
Without having any help.
I would say this is going to sound like a fucking curveball. The closest gaming experience I've had to Fear and Hunger is probably Jump King.
How so? Oh, because it's just about resetting and just going at it again.
It's
trial and error.
It's about trial and error, and it's about like, because the game is so punishing, you feel such a rush from the smallest amount of progress. Like just being able to go to a different room or just kill a single guard gives you such a feeling of like victory. And I just remember like having the safety net of finding a save point I didn't need to coin flip for.
Yeah.
That was like insane to me. And then I got tilted because I found another save point and I didn't need to coin flip for it at all. So I was like, oh, this is great. I saved over my previous save file and then I went exploring again and then I went back and they were like, actually, it's dangerous now. You need to coin flip every time. And I was like, fuck! I just saved over my save point.
It's probably one of the only games that I would highly, highly, highly recommend always saving on a new save.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you might have accidentally fucked yourself over.
Again, that's my JRPG brain. I'm like, I only need one save.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Same. You know, because what's the worst that could happen? But in this one, it's like, oh, you might have accidentally used a resource, or you might have taken too much damage.
Yeah.
You actually need to go back.
Yeah.
But what's so cool about it is that you spend so many hours just trying to survive that you don't even consider the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you get more confident and you're like, all right, I'm starting to get a hold of this dungeon. I'm starting to figure out how things work. Then you can start, all right, now I want to figure out what's going on.
Well, it was actually the whole world that made me want to continue playing it. Because if it was like the game mechanics alone, I'd be like, I don't want to do this.
I mean, the game mechanics, like, frankly, suck.
Yeah.
For like,
yeah.
It's pretty unforgiving. It's unfair, and it's almost bullshit. At times. Like a lot of stuff. Also, like there's a lot of programming issues where like stuff just doesn't work. Like there are some abilities that they say work that just don't.
Yeah,
it's very troll. Like I think the defense stat is just completely broken. It doesn't work at all in the game.
Right.
Yeah. I would like to explore more of the world and the story and the lore because it is fucking fascinating. It's just,
can I?
Man, I do not have the patience.
I want to spoil one thing for you that absolutely like made me like think, holy shit. The only issue is that there are a few, like a fair amount of things in the game that even if you were really paying attention, you would just never find out.
Yeah.
Without someone else who just found it out online. But it's almost kind of fun in a sense because you're like, I've learned so much that when you feel like, okay, I'm kind of beyond spoilers. Like I know the story, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
When someone tells you something, you're like, oh shit, you can do that?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna try it. And it's really interesting. And I want to show you one.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I'm gonna continue playing this game, but this is not a game I would ever play not on stream.
You gotta,
yeah,
please stream it. Please stream you playing it because I think you're gonna continually have your mind blown.
Yeah, because there was like so many things where I'm like, I need. This is the one game where I need people to handhold me through some of this moment, through some of the points. Yeah. Some of it is just like, it was really cool discovering for myself, but there was some points where I just literally did not know what to do. And it was just like bashing my head against the wall.
I'm trying to think like, what are some kind of really cool things that I can kind of help explain that don't spoil much? Because there are...
I mean, I actually, I'm more inclined to be like, don't say anything more to me because it was really cool just going into this completely blind and just discovering it all for myself. And I think I'm going to continue playing this game because... I think the biggest thing that intrigued me were some of like the monster designs, just the way
the monster designs are sick.
Just the way it makes you feel, man.
So you got here, right?
Yeah.
This place.
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say is you should try and interact with this wall.
Oh, okay.
You should go and talk to it and see what happens.
Wait, is that when the fucking wizard guy pops out?
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Wait, did you see it?
Yeah.
Wait.
I did not see that.
That's when the game for me was like, oh shit.
No, that fucking terrified me. And then he summons the fucking demon or some shit like that. What? Yeah.
This is like, how did you accidentally come across this? Because I didn't think to do this.
JRPG brain, I was trying to I tried to interact with everything and anything. So if anything had an interact button, I would just press it. You can probably just load up my playthrough.
Oh yeah, you got it? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is it this one?
Oh yeah. Okay.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So check this out, Jay.
Yeah, so I was crawling around and I was like, I'm sure there's something to interact with here. They wouldn't send me down here just to crawl around and restart the game. So I just
that music.
That music as well. Yeah. I was like terrified actually during this point. And then the fucking demon that comes from the back as well.
What the fuck? Oh my god. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, what is that?
You are crushed with great pressure. Oh my god. Yeah, your reaction there of just it was literally how I was. I was like, "Oh, good again."
Because this was before I had like made any progress. This is before I even killed an enemy.
Yeah,
So, you found this. See, I didn't find this at all in my first run.
Yeah.
Which one? Oh, I found that. Yeah, I found that too.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any lesser souls, so I couldn't use it. Oh, you found a lesser soul?
Yeah, I found a lesser soul.
I didn't find a lesser soul.
How did you find a lesser soul? I did not find this mechanic at all my first playthrough. But this is how you literally gain abilities.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I found lesser souls by killing things.
Yeah, and then the stones that you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not find lesser souls.
Yeah.
Shit, that's crazy you figured that out. That's nuts.
That's
literally my first 20-hour playthrough didn't find it.
I think the way I made progress in this game was like, something like Jump King, where you just save scum.
Yeah, you just have
and
to,
you just like I just interacted with everything, even if it was just like a bookshelf or a table.
Yeah.
Like there was like rotten meat on the floor, and I'm like, what happens if I eat it? I literally just tried doing everything.
There's a purpose to like 90% of the things. So like almost everything you come across, it can be used for something.
Yeah.
So you just don't know what.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no punishment for holding more stuff in the game.
Yeah.
So you should just pick up everything.
Yeah. So I mean, I think my OCD JRPG brain actually helped me here.
Okay.
Because I did try to kill everything, even though you just said the most optimal way to play the game is just to avoid every enemy.
Yeah.
I would avoid every enemy until I found a save that was safe, or like save point. I would literally backtrack.
Kill everything.
Kill the enemy. If I took damage, restart. Just do it, and I would get like random drops of items. Some of them I didn't know what they were, but I just kept everything, and I just kept replaying
That was
it.
smart, yeah.
Yeah, and then I made decent progress in the game, and I was like, this feels fun, but also this is it's gonna take a lot of patience.
Yeah, it is patience testing for sure.
And I feel like I need a few thousand people to handhold me because I don't want to do this by myself.
That's fair. That's fair.
When I played it, it was so niche. So there was like, even people, when I was live streaming, they didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
But there's a few mechanics that I was like, this is legit impossible to figure out. Without someone telling you this.
Yeah.
And I guess I won't tell you.
So conclusion, really fucking enjoyed the game. And
Hell yeah.
I'll probably play it on stream when I have the courage to experience the rest of it, because it does take a lot of courage.
Got to cut off those tails.
Yeah.
Cut off those tails. This episode is sponsored by Betterhelp.
This year has gone so quickly. What's something you're proud of in 2024 so far? What's something you still want to accomplish this year? When life goes fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins and make adjustments for the rest of the year. And therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months.
Guys, from my personal experience, I think not enough guys like to talk about themselves and how they feel, because sometimes there's just a barrier, even when talking with mates. And I've gone through a point when I've actually really benefited from talk therapy. There wasn't necessarily something I thought was wrong with me, but it definitely helped me sort out a lot of my feelings.
Well, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
So take a moment, visit betterhelp.com/trash to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/trash. Back to the episode.
All right, so I guess we can move on to our next thing. Connor, what do you want to talk about?
What would you like me to talk about first? What do you want me to talk about first? You can choose. Dealer's choice. I chose, so you can choose.
Let's go with your first visual novel.
Yeah, Sayonara Eri.
I am
curious.
so curious about how your first visual novel experience was.
Yeah, so do you, I guess, do you want to set the stage, or shall I?
I guess I'll explain why we chose
Yes, I'd
this
love to
one.
know why.
Because obviously, we played a few visual novels, but in terms of having a lot of visual novels I play, the beginning is just so fucking slow, right? Because it's just like, okay, you get introduced to the girls or whatever. The boy is going to high school, and then yada yada yada, slice of life. And I'm like, Connor's gonna fucking wanna off himself if he plays one of those. Sayonara Eri is one of the first visual novels that I played that just like has such an interesting premise from the get-go, and then like the hook comes, and then you just want to keep reading and keep wanting to like go through the entire story right up until the end. And it's not that long of a visual novel compared to like other visual novels as well.
If I wasn't crunched for time, I probably would have gone through it all.
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I wanted to see where it was going. So I guess it was the first thing that I was like, oh god. I boot up the game, and it was like, what level of censorship would you like? I I was like, what?
Okay.
And there was like 4 different levels.
Because you're playing the
like,
Steam version, right?
Yeah. And I was like, fucking 0, please.
Yeah.
And then immediately boots up. And it looks like the fucking Fear and Hunger dungeon. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I actually think Fear and Hunger.
It literally looked like that blood dungeon.
Yeah, it did. It
really does.
I think they both have very similar things in common, actually.
It was just the, can you type in, I got it actually.
Yeah.
I booted it. Actually, I'll just show a screenshot from my thing. I boot that shit up. I was like, what the fuck?
I want to see your reaction.
I don't know.
See, this is a story work of fiction. The procedures and conditions described herein are imaginary and do not reflect. Okay. Okay. Grotesque images. Why?
Look at this. 4 options.
Oh my god.
Man, I wish Fear and Hunger had that.
Yeah, right?
Look at this.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I remember.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, I remember I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it starts with like this like gibberish. Just like
gibberish.
It's fucking horrific.
Yeah. So do you want to explain the premise of the story then?
I'll do my best to explain it. So basically it opens up. You see this like abomination of flesh and noises.
Yeah.
And the character that we're following, he can kind of make out that these 3 like flesh abominations are kind of talking in a language that he understands.
Yeah.
And slowly as they're talking, he starts to understand it more. And it's revealed that these are his school friends.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, what happened? And then it cuts immediately to the school friend who sees everything normally.
Yeah.
And he sees his friend who's just kind of being a bit weird, being very jaded. And so then it's kind of revealed that he sees the world in this abomination way. Everything he smells, everything he hears, every kind of sense you can imagine.
Yeah.
Everything is grotesque, it's bloody, it's gory, it's people don't even sound the same. And they look like these, like this, I guess, whatever this drawing is supposed to be. They look like sacks of flesh.
Yeah. Like guts and blood everywhere on the walls.
Yeah, and they're talking about like a ski trip. And so even stuff like, he doesn't want to be there, so he's like, I'm going to go excuse myself. So he knows, we're revealed to us that he is aware that it is the normal world and he sees it this way. So he knows he's in the real life world and he sees it in just a weird way.
Yeah.
A little wacky way. So he's trying to keep his cover, right? And so, but then there's even some weird stuff like he's trying to leave, trying to excuse himself. And in his way, he sees it as his friend like spitting acid on him.
Yeah.
But in real life, he's just like, hey man, where you going? So you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then he goes home and all his walls are flesh.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Then we go to the hospital where he has his weekly checkup and we find out that he had some very experimental surgery. And the other patients who also had this surgery also reported having horrible kind of visions and stuff. But he tells the doctor, no, I'm okay. Lying because he's a bit worried about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's also revealed in this is all in the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That when he's talking to the doctor, he's pressing the doctor about finding out where this person is. And the doctor doesn't like that he's asking. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's on vacation.
Yeah.
But we know something's awry. But when it starts to get really weird, is about 30 minutes in. He's miserable after this doctor's meeting. Everything's flesh. Everything's gross. And he starts to describe how, but there's one reason why he likes living. And when he gets home, this fucking cute 10-year-old anime girl who is not affected by this flesh grotesque. Like, oh, hi, Oni-chan. She is immaculate. His smell of her is amazing. She looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fucking her for some reason. Listen, it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
It is.
Right?
It is very.
Listen, the walls are made of flat. What did you expect?
Yeah.
This is a mid-2000s visual novel, so.
So it's very fucking weird. And so we try to slowly figure out, through the characters, what's going on. Why is this girl being seen as flesh?
Yeah.
And then we revealed some interesting information about this girl because I can't even spoil the game, so I don't know what happens.
Yeah.
But that she doesn't want to eat around him. And he's eating all this weird flesh stuff because everything looks like flesh to him. And he's eating it and he's like, it just tastes like shit. But it's really like real food. It's like carrots and broccoli. But to him, it's like flesh. But she won't eat around him. But one day her friend confesses to him that she loves him. And he's like, well, you're a flesh goblin to me. It doesn't say that, but so he's like, you're disgusting. You disgust me. You're vile. Says that to him. Way, a bit overkill, right?
Yeah. The worst she can. The worst
she can say is no. But she's like, nah, you're a flesh goblin. You're a piece of shit. I hate you. It's literally like that.
Yeah.
It's like literally like comical levels of like, you are the worst piece of man. And then obviously her best friend, hears this, that he said this, and she's like, what the fuck? That's not cool. I'm going to go fucking talk to him at his house.
Yeah.
But he's not home right now. But guess who is home? Little Saya, 10-year-old Saya's home. But it turns out that we find out that Saya, she's not a little girl at all.
Nah.
We kind of get the hints that she's some kind of flesh-eating monster herself.
Yeah.
And then she kills this roommate.
Yeah.
And then eats the food. And around where I got to is when he finally comes home after she'd killed this person. He doesn't realize.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, well, what's for dinner? She's like, oh, I got this thing that I was eating. It's kind of embarrassing though. I don't know if you'll like it. And then he starts eating. He's like, oh shit, this tastes fucking awesome. Obviously implying that it's the flesh.
Yeah.
The flesh.
They're
Yeah.
cannibalizing.
Yeah.
And also there's another weird detail that was mentioned where they like, she's like, oh, I normally have to get my food from the local park. I was like, what? What food? I was like, is it kids or is it pets? Would you please tell me it's pets? And
that's when you got to, that's where you got to.
I got a little further. I got to the point because we also find out that how he met this girl was that she was doing like, wacky pranks in the hospital that he was staying at, where she would go and visit people at 3 a.m. Challenge. And she was trying to scare him, but he was so happy that there was someone who finally wasn't like flesh monster. That he was like overjoyed.
Yeah.
So that's how they became to know each other. And so she asks him, or he offers to help find this missing doctor who she is interested in finding, who has something to do with all of this.
Yeah.
And that doctor is the one that the other doctor doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
So clearly something's going on with this doctor.
Yep.
And where I stopped was he goes to his house, the doctor's abandoned house, and his friend follows him and then confronts him there. And that's where I got to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that does happen. It's been so long since I've played Sayonara, so like there's like small details that I kind of forgot about that you reminded me of. But
Yeah.
I definitely do remember him eating the delicious meal for the first time. I remember I was like, what the fuck is this?
I was like, thank you for this delectable meal.
Finally some good fucking food.
Yeah. And like this is like his house that he can't stomach it, so he bought a bunch of random paints and painted all over his house.
Yeah.
And apparently the smell is so vile and disgusting of paint thinner.
Yeah.
But like it's like a miracle that
I remember when I was playing this game, I was in like middle school, I think, when I played this game, or like maybe late primary school. It was the most horrifying thing I've ever played in my life.
It doesn't help that all the pictures that they use, like all the pictures are like real pictures.
Yeah.
That are like deep fried.
Yeah, exactly.
The house, the outside of the house, like that's just a deep fried image of a real house in Japan. It kind of added to the creepiness of it.
It's like, how much of a sepia tone do you want over this? It's like, yes.
It's like the worst Instagram filter you can think of.
Yeah, I got to like his neighbor confronting him about the smell.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got to like where she's like, do you want me to take care of you? And I guess she like sucks him off.
Yeah.
Oh,
my God.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
And then I guess they fuck. And that's kind of where I got to. Where I was like, all right,
You're like, nah, I'm good.
Peace out. I'm good. It
was just weird. Like I kind of wish I played it all in one go just to see where it went. And I kind of wish I like played it on stream as well, because I think it'd be so fucking funny.
I don't think you can play this on stream.
I know you can't.
Yeah.
I know you can't. I figured out like an hour in. I was like, I can't play it. And I bet it's gonna get weird.
But like in terms of like, this is like very early, I guess.
Is this famous?
It was infamous. Fucking hell, yeah.
Does it get infamous because of stuff that happens later on?
No, it's the whole package.
It is the entire package.
I was going to say, because it was pretty fucked up from where I got to.
No, because this came out during the time where, again, it was kind of like the mainstream visual novel world.
Like all romance.
Yeah, all like gal gays and era gays that were just like based in reality. And then along comes this game where literally 30 seconds in and you're subject to some of the most horrifying imagery at the time. You know?
I think my biggest issue with this was, the fact that there are like adult scenes in this, and I think there are adult scenes in this, because of the fact that this is a visual novel, you know, and back in that day, visual novels were very much associated with, you know, hentai games, eroges, and stuff like that.
There was very few, if not any, like all ages visual novels back in this time.
And I think the thing that makes this visual novel stand out, similar to like when Fate Stay Night first became a thing, was that it had a story that was fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But then I feel like the creators were like, all right, it's a visual novel, so we gotta add sex scenes.
Yeah, we gotta
gotta add sex
like
scenes.
that sex felt really weird, but also in a very way, like kind of powerful in the sense of like, you know that she's some kind of like but like she's like this grotesque monster. So when because by this time that you see the sex, well, no, you don't see the sex scene, but the sex is described to you. You're like, he's fucking like the Fear and Hunger god. It's
exactly.
like a vile, like gelatinous blob that he's fucking, and you're like, God.
I think it was
vile.
used in like a really effective like horror storytelling method.
It feels peak 2000 as well.
It is.
Like back when like there was no limit on Edge. Every story had to be the most fucked up, vile thing for no, like sometimes just for no apparent reason. There's like no reason for it to like they'll just kill a dog and they'll be like, why?
It's like I could. It's like Elfen Lied or something. Where it's like, how do we make this more edgy? All right, okay.
Open up with a cut off arm on the ground. That's the first thing.
I will say, like, it was very grotesque, but they didn't show a whole lot. Like it was all told or described. Like, and it felt like they could have easily have gone overboard if they wanted to, but they didn't, which I kind of appreciated. Like,
it's like a good horror novel, you know? Like it's the way that these scenes are described, which is more horrifying than actually seeing it.
I just hate the character we play as. His I hate listening to him speak.
He's a fucking...
he's just a weirdo.
He is a weirdo. Yeah, he's a weirdo and an outcast, and I guess that's what makes that character work, just because he's so okay accepting some of like the fucked up shit. And you know, eventually, you know, his everything just gets more and more fucked up, and he just kind of like, whichever route you decide to take in the visual novel, you know, you can end up accepting it. But like, it's so to give you a bit of background on this visual novel, it was written by Geno Ibuchi, who wrote Madoka Magica, Fate Zero.
He wrote this?
Yeah, he wrote this.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So I think this is one of the things that really got his name out there before he really started going into the anime world. And obviously, you can't make an anime out of out of this story that he wrote. He wrote Psycho Pass as well. I forgot.
You could probably make an anime out of this. I don't think it'd be good.
I don't know.
It's gonna be tough, especially in this day and age.
I don't know what the second half can. Or the last. Oh well. Third, fourth.
Last.
I got a quarter through it, so I got what's next.
Yeah, so I think you basically, I think you stopped at a good point where you're like, all right, I'm kind of hooked on the story, because for the longest time, it's playing visual novels is grinding through the fucking shitty parts.
Well, I never made a decision. My entire 1 hour of play. I was just reading.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate the enter simulator. I was just pressing.
Well, that's it.
I never got to like decide or even choose a dialogue, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, why don't we just make a book?
I mean, that's kind of what this is.
It's just a book.
Yeah, in terms of
he did release a book eventually.
Yeah. In terms of what this is way more in line with literally that, just a visual novel where you don't make too many choices. There are like good endings and bad endings and different endings.
Those are always like last minute choices. Right? They're like near the end.
Yeah.
It's not like a choice where you make from the start that affects everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like something like let's say Doki Doki Literature Club, where it is, you know, there are a lot more choices and that actively affects a lot of like the routes you go through, because, you know, that was trying to do something different with visual novel gameplay. But very much with this, it is very much just...
I never played Doki Doki, by the way.
You don't play that?
No.
Okay. Well, with Doki Doki, that definitely does have a point where it hooks you, but it is way further on than with this. The reason I wanted you to read this mostly is just because it's so intriguing.
Yeah.
It's so like the world you get dropped in. There are you get dropped into this like world with these characters and what he perceives the world to be, and you have like a million questions, and it's like and it's really good at feeding you just enough information to be like, oh shit, fuck, okay, I want to know. I kind of want to know what happens next. And then you find out a little bit about the girl. Yeah. And then he starts doing fucked up things, and you're like, okay, so she is obviously feeding him some meat and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the problem I have with a lot of visual novels is that not every like scene provides information. Sometimes there are scenes that are just characters talking.
Yeah.
But doesn't give you any information that helps you like understand the world or the story better.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did like about this is that they at least every single scene I left learning something else about this world.
Yeah.
In like a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Which I found very helpful because a lot of the times, again, I've done visual novels in the past that just 30 minutes of characters going, tee, what are we doing today?
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's why Sayonara was so well received, even though
The Steam reviews are like overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think Gen Urobuchi realized that was a massive problem with a lot of visual novels, and so he just decided to cut off all the fat.
Yeah, make
and
it
to
4
be
hours.
like,
Don't fucking
bam, like this is the story. Every scene matters. Every dialogue matters, and it's just like bam, 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 bam. No fluff or anything like that.
And it feels like a natural progression of events.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
When you're playing it,
Yeah.
it feels it's like very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first, I don't know if it gets worse later on, but the first hour is very, very, it hooks you.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of what the fuck moments as well.
It gets better and better.
And that's why, like, I remember doing this entire thing in one sitting because you get to the point where you were already intrigued by the world. You start asking questions, and then when those questions are answered, you get given more questions, and you're like, well, shit, now I want to know what that is about. And the 4 hours go pretty fast, actually. It went pretty fast for me on my first playthrough. And I think I think more visual novels should be around this very digestible kind of like playthrough completion time. Because a lot of visual novels are just like fucking 20 hours. Like even something like Doki Doki, which I understand why you need that slice of life bit at the beginning. God, it felt so long.
Doki
God,
Doki,
it felt so long.
I think for me, Doki Doki took 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about like on, especially in this day and age, that's about on just like pushing
it's too long.
the playthrough time that I'm willing to do. I think Doki Doki one playthrough is also about 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Something like that,
but it definitely doesn't hook you as quick as this does. I guess like also do you think you would be as intrigued by it if it didn't have any visuals? Like, because
no,
it is
the
a
visuals
visual
help.
novel.
The visuals help really like paint the world.
Yeah.
The flesh stuff is so visceral that I think it's very helpful to kind of put you in like, oh, this is how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
Rather than telling you, here's a wall of flesh.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest thing that hooked me at the beginning was just like being greeted by that wall of flesh, and you're like, it looks so grotesque that if I didn't have any visuals and just had to read this, I don't think I would have been as hooked as fast by the story this is trying to tell. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time.
I mean, it was what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, why did you make me play this? But it was a good time.
And Gen Urobuchi's a sick son of a bitch, but goddamn, he can write a good story.
Maybe he'll fucking read out the Glob 5000 from Suckathon over here. Like,
oh, the Gat 9000.
look at this house, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? How do you even do that?
Look at your reaction. It's like, oh my god.
There's just so much where I was just like, what the fuck? Why? I was just stressed out. I was just, especially when she like goes in the house.
Yeah.
Wants to like confront him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just gross.
Also, the visuals have kind of aged decently well.
Oh, the doctor was bad though. I'd let her.
I mean,
would absolutely would.
I mean, I forget. Okay, so obviously Saya is not who she seems, but I didn't remember that she was like fucking that young. Back when I played,
So I'm not sure what age she's supposed to be, but they do hint that she's like quite young.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's a fucking. It's a glob.
It's a fucking Lovecraftian.
It's a Lovecraftian. You know what I mean?
Creature.
Like, and obviously that's that's also a product of the time. But also like, I don't know if that's what the character is like. He's like portraying what he thinks. I don't know what the reason is. I gotta it. But it could be like this is what he wants. He might just want. But I mean, listen, he's like a weird person.
Yeah, he is. He is a very
obviously
weird
like
person.
They play his whole family died card as well. Which you're like, classic 2000 pro.
Of course.
Or it wouldn't be like a fucking anime fucked up high schooler if you didn't have dead parents. You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Weird, man. Weird. Just the way it opens is just so Oh my god.
It is easily one of the most just like right off the bat intriguing visual novels I've played.
I will say there wasn't really any characters I really connected with on this one. This is much more of a, okay, this is a mystery. It's grotesque, it's scary, and you just want to find out what happens. And I think it just delivers. That's what Genrobuchi just tried to focus down on, that one package, and I think he really delivered it in a very tight package in this one. And
I think I reacted really strongly when I first saw the.
I should have modified. What the fuck? Hey, the wriggling mass of flashbulb bubbles. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
I was just very confused.
Yeah.
What a good way to open a game, though.
Yeah, right. With like the sound as well. The sound design. It's kind of like that fucking Head in Fear and Hunger when it just hits you with like the fucking. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, so 2 horrific things that we started off with.
Wow, patrons, if you want to look at all of that in detail, go and watch the full version on Patreon.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Shipstation.
If you watch Trash Taste, you know we're a bunch of little dum-dums here. We don't know how to optimize our business, but when we're taking on and scaling our business, that's when we turn to something like Shipstation.
Go.
If you run an e-commerce business, you already know that shipping can consume so much valuable time, right, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, you know, with nonsense when we started off, we had to ship out all these clothes all over the world. It's great for the business, you know, having customers all over the world, but the logistics that go into it is just confusing. They're the multi-carrier shipping solution that integrates wherever you sell online and streamlines your workflow, so your business can grow even when you're on a summer vacation.
And luckily for us, it has an easy-to-use dashboard that makes managing orders, smooth label printing, reporting, and customer service easy. And you can effortlessly import orders from everywhere you sell online with shipping configurations automatically applied. So what are you waiting for? Scale your business and reduce warehouse costs with Shipstation's reliable enterprise solutions, where you can save thousands on shipping costs with discounts up to 89% off of UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. And over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with Shipstation, and 90% of those companies stick with Shipstation for a year, become life customers.
Work less and ship more with Shipstation, the innovative tool that helps turn your shipping challenges into opportunities for growth. So go to shipstation.com and use code TRASH to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's shipstation.com, code TRASH.
Back to the video.
All right, what did you else watch, Garnt?
Well, it was Joey.
What
Me?
you did Fear and Hunger?
I did Fear and Hunger as well.
Oh, you played, what else did you play or read?
I watched Breaking Bad.
Okay. I can't believe you never watched Breaking Bad.
Never.
What the heck?
And I will say, that was easily one of the best first episodes to a show I've ever seen. Like, it's fucking nuts. That pilot is crazy.
What a fucking
What
pilot
an amazing
episode.
first pilot.
So
I did find it funny how the first episode literally ends with like just Walter just being a Rizzler. but yeah, I mean, like the way that it just like I knew the basic premise of the show, right? Of the whole thing of like, but the thing is, I didn't know about like Walter White's backstory of like how I knew he was a chemistry teacher, but I didn't know why he eventually became, you know, to start making, you know, the drugs. So it was really cool to like see his life at that point of being like, you know, he's like down in the dumps with his job and like, you know, he's, you know, the students laugh at him, he hates his job, blah, blah. And then when the doctor was like, you've got however many months to live, and he was just like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna make some drugs. I was just like, let's go. But no, it's so cool because it's like it kind of Tarantino's you at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it immediately just hooks you in with this like really intense chase scene, which is like really well shot, really cool, and then it just like cuts to the 6 weeks late.
He's in the desert, right?
Yeah, and then it cuts to the 6 weeks earlier, and you're just like, what the fuck happened? I need to know. And yeah, the whole progression and I guess reasoning for it all, it made sense. Like logically, it made total sense of why Walter decided to go down that route because, you know, he's like has a terminal illness. He wants to like go out with a bang, I guess. Yeah. But man, just some of those like scenes were just so intense. Like when he throws the red phosphorus in the pan and kills the two guys. I was just like, girl, fucking
that was in episode 1?
That's episode 1.
I completely forgot that was. I thought that was episode like 2 or 3 or something like that.
But that's the thing. It's like this first episode was so jam-packed with so many things happening, like not just in terms of like plot progression, but also just like Walter's character like kind of you can see Walter's character grow just within one episode. It literally felt like I watched like 3 or 4 episodes at once.
Yeah.
I thought it was fucking fantastic.
Are you going to continue watching?
Oh, 100%.
Was there a reason you never watched Breaking Bad? Or
it's just one of those shows where like
you just hear so much about it.
I hear so much about it, and also I was like, well, I would like to kind of like binge this show. Yeah. And at the time, it was still kind of airing. So I was like, I'll wait till it's finished airing. And then I guess just never got around to it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I finally got around to it. Now I can binge it. So
yeah. Do you think you're gonna continue it straight away, or
I would like to?
Did you watch this with Aki or just by
just
yourself?
by myself? Because I was like, I was actually really tempted to just off camera just continue watching it.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I think Aki would enjoy it too. So I think I'm gonna watch episode 1 with her again.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna binge it.
There's like not a single bad moment in the show.
Yeah.
It's every single season, every episode is just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like if you're starting off like that, I can't imagine how good it's gonna get.
What was the moment that you got like hooked?
The moment I got hooked, I would say, is definitely when I think it was the moment where like Walter confronts Jesse for the first time.
Right.
You know, like because he's at like the meth house like crime scene with his like brother-in-law or whatever it is, Hank.
Yeah.
And then he like sees Jesse like jumping out after he's finished the Rizzling.
The Rizzling. For fuck's sake, Joey.
After he finished the Gat 9000.
Okay,
And then he follows him home, and then he's like, you know, like, make meth with me or I'm taking you to the police. And Jesse's like, what?
Yeah.
And I was also like, what? And then like, you know, he's talking about like, this is a heating flask. And he's like, I don't use that in my craft. I use chili powder. And I'm like, Jesse, you fucking idiot. It's like, that's not good. And then that whole montage where they're like in the RV in the desert and he's just like, he's just cooking.
Oh,
it's like, this is like pure glass. Like, this is like pure glass grade. How did you do this? And it's like, it's basic chemistry. I'm like, fuck yeah. There's just so many like cool one-liners and just like moments that you really get to see just like the character growing in real time and in like a really logical way, which I think is like super cool. But like, I was also wondering like, you know, with the way that the episode is set up is like, it kind of tricks you in a sense because up until a certain point, until like Jesse and Walter start like actually cooking for the first time, you think like everything's kind of going smoothly. You're like, I'm sure something is going to happen that will put them in danger because you get reminded of that first scene that you see, right? So the entire time I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, so how the hell did it end up becoming like the beginning part? And then when it actually happened, I was like, oh, okay, that's genius. That's so good.
I mean, I'm wondering how much time they must have put into planning this first episode.
I don't know.
It is so dense to the fact that you're describing it, and I'm like, oh, in my mind, I thought that happened in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was just like so much is condensed into such a short time frame. They establish so much about the characters and also hook you with the stakes and because I think the biggest thing that hooks you immediately was like he has this problem that he has to solve. He has like wait what did it end on before I start talking actually?
It ended on
him in the desert. Right?
Yeah, so it ended on so the beginning scene opens up and it cuts away when like he hears the sirens coming and he expects that he's gonna be confronted by the police, so he's like waiting with the gun.
Yeah.
And then when it actually happens in the second half, you realize that, oh, it's not the police that's coming, it's a bunch of firefighters. And they just drive past.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right. And then Jesse wakes up and he's like, what the fuck happened? And then he somehow makes it home. His wife asks, where have you been? And then he just, without saying anything, just starts having sex with her. Well, that's how the episode ends.
I mean, it's supposed to be like, because now he's like rock hard because he's like feels like he's finally living life.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like such a cool way to like show that like character progression, you know, like rather than like getting the character to do like this whole monologue about like what happened. It's just like, no, actions are going to speak louder than words. Like you get to see just within that first episode, the difference in self-confidence after he's gone through all of that. And like, that's just a cool way to show character progression in like less than an hour.
You like the show a lot.
Yeah,
you will like the show a lot.
Thoroughly, like I legitimately think that might be one of the best first episodes to a TV show I've ever seen.
It continues to be the best episode and just the best, one of the best TV shows of all time.
It's crazy how it like just doesn't fall off.
No.
It stays that good. For
Okay.
And it just
seasons.
gets better and better and better and better.
Alright,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people like there's like there's
Yeah, it's like, to
consider
me-
like masterpiece episodes later on.
Yeah, to me, like I feel like for the longest time, Breaking Bad for me was kind of like Hunter x Hunter, where I'd heard so much about it that just from hearing what everybody else was saying about it, I was like, that sounds like a show I'm going to enjoy, and I'm probably going to.
Yeah.
And then when I actually went and watched it, I was like,
Aren't you glad we forced you to watch it?
yeah, with this one, yes.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Only the most critically acclaimed TV show
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah. God, Joey. Oh no, you have to watch your 5-course meal of the best TV show ever made.
Yeah.
Like, oh, woe is me.
No, but you guys know me. There was a chance I might not have liked it.
No, there's not. I don't know a single person that watched it didn't like it.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, luckily I'm not that.
it seems insane to me now that I think this is true. Where originally the original plan was
They thought it was going to bomb.
They thought it was going to bomb, and Jesse was going to like be written off in the
First episode or two.
first season, I think.
yeah.
Season
Oh,
finale.
shit.
Yeah, but because Aaron Paul's portrayal of him made him so fucking likable.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know that Jesse is a major character throughout the entire
Yeah,
season
yeah.
of Breaking Bad. And it's insane to think that after viewing that first episode, the original plan was to be like, nah, he dies,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could see why. Like,
Yeah.
'cause they try to make him annoying,
Yeah.
but he.
I mean, he
comes-
almost dies in the first
Yeah,
episode.
but
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
comes off as so endearing.
Yeah.
It's kinda
Yeah,
hard
it
not
is.
to. And because I think when the show was coming out, there was another show out around the same time about a pregnant mom who had to sell weed, and I think there was like a lot of. I think when they were originally going to make the show, there's a lot of concern that they thought that. This show's just not going to do well because there's this show. It's kind of the same premise that's already kind of doing well.
Yeah.
But then it turned out to be, I mean, one of the best TV shows of all time,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
and a very iconic role of Walter.
Yeah,
White.
I'm wondering because I don't think it did like properly pop off in popularity after the first season. It felt like it was like 3 seasons in or something.
I started watching 3 seasons in.
Yeah.
And then the hype around like weekly around the final season was immense.
Yeah.
It was I was like 18 at the time. And I remember that every week it was all everyone would talk about. It was like, are you watching Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
So it's completely finished now?
Yeah, it's completely finished.
So 5 seasons, right?
5 seasons, very dense.
Okay.
It's the complete story and a definite ending as well.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to watch the rest of it.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Like more than I thought I was going to. Like I had a feeling I was going to enjoy it just from what I heard, but that was like far better
It is
than
just
what
peak.
I thought.
It's just peak.
It's just fucking peak.
It's just so good.
Amazing storytelling. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll go next then.
All right.
Let's do a movie or TV show this time.
Sure.
So, finally watched Lord of the Rings,
Let's go!
Fellowship of the Rings, all of the way through.
I can't believe it took you this long to watch it.
I can't believe it took me this long as someone who likes fantasy
Yeah, right?
to watch it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
My heart stopped beating there. Yeah. I thought he was going to be like, it's all right.
It's like,
And
Mr. Frodo.
I think I'm kind of glad that I'm watching this as like an adult and not as like when it first released when I was like way younger. I don't think I would have appreciated it.
You don't.
No, you don't.
Especially Fellowship of the Rings because
Very lore heavy.
it is so lore heavy.
lore heavy.
And I think I remember watching like 30 minutes when I was like younger at my cousin's house, and it just seemed so fucking boring, right? Because I was like,
It's a lot of talking
There's
at the
a
beginning.
lot. There's a lot.
I'm
to
just
take
like, who the fuck? What is it, Mr. Frodo? Why the fuck do I care about this? It's a ring. Where are the action? Where are like the fighting and shit? But like watching this as an adult now that I've grown like a bigger appreciation. The fucking world building and lore is it's insane to think how old this is and just how big of an effect this has just had on pop culture in general and just like the entire fantasy, right? Because
Tolkien is an absolute
Giga-chat.
master at like world building. It's crazy that he thought up all of that like fucking whenever the hell he wrote the first book. Like
yeah, exactly. When did the original Lord of the Rings come out? Because
it was in the 50s or 60s, I think.
I thought it was earlier.
I think it was earlier than
I thought it was like the 30s or something like that.
Lord of the Rings book come out.
Oh, it might have been. You know what? It actually
1954.
Oh, 1950s. Okay.
Yeah, because I know he was still alive when Dune was
But he released The Hobbit in the 30s, which is the same world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he released The Hobbit in the 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is the prequel to Lord of the Rings.
The prequel to Lord of the Rings. Yeah, just like seeing I guess the origin of so many of these fantasy creatures, because I know that, for example, a lot of this is taken from, European mythology.
absolutely.
But a lot of our images of what these
modern day fantasy,
like what these, what elves are, what dwarves are, what wizards are, they all come from this. They all come from Tolkien's interpretation of these mythical beings, and it's insane to think how much power this single story has had, or this single world has had, for our perception of just modern fantasy and just fantasy in general, like wizards having pointy hats or like things like that. So I was just like so intrigued with this world, even though all of these genres have been, portrayed to death in modern fantasy. It was interesting still to this day, seeing the depth of this world, and also getting attached to some of these characters as well.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
Samwise. Mr. Frodo! Mr. Frodo! Oh man, I need a best friend like Sam, man. That the scene at the end when Frodo just gives up on everyone, he's like, nah, I need to do this by myself. And Samwise like, no, Mr. Frodo, don't leave me. I'll come with you. I'll come with you. And I'm like, oh man, what a real G.
That's a real G.
He's the goat, man.
Yeah,
you realize that Sam's the goat of the story. It's not about him, but he's always there helping.
Yeah, he's so fucking likable. And, a lot of the Fellowship of the Ring is just a lot of setting up the world, setting up the conflict, and talking as well. And I thought I would get bored through a lot of it, but most of it, now I've grown an appreciation of just like the wider world building and the wider politics. In terms of the individual characters so far, just because there are like so many fucking characters, it was hard to get a grasp on every single one. But they did a really, really good job at just setting up the banter and the chemistry between everyone. Like,
I love Gimli.
Gimli, I felt was like the comic relief character of everything.
Like Legolas was so like brooding and sexy and like good at archery, and then Gimli like, let's go. What are you doing?
Yeah, because like out of everything that I watched or played this time, I think this is the one where I had the least amount of reactions. Yeah. Just because I was so immersed. I was locked in, man. I was locked in.
I haven't watched the first movie in, oh my god, like over 10 years. But I remember I always love the scene where they like have to decide if they're gonna go through the mountain or like around it. Yeah. I love that when they were deciding that. I think that's the first movie, right?
Yeah, that is the first movie.
I love it when they're like, we gotta go the dangerous way.
Yeah. Well, it's either the less dangerous way, the more dangerous way, or the fuck you are going to die way. Yeah. And I was a bit concerned about like, because you forget how old this is, if the CGI would have aged at all. And surprisingly, like a lot of it
looks good.
A lot of it still holds up. Some of it looks a little janky. There are some scenes a little janky, but for the most part, you absolutely don't notice it at all. And
how was it getting to see the "You Shall Not Pass"?
I was going to get to that. So I obviously know that iconic scene. I've seen that iconic scene out of context. So I thought there was so many. I will admit there were a lot of scenes in Lord of the Rings where it was like a fucking meme moment, and half of my watch through was just going,
one does not simply enter Mordor.
One does not simply just enter Mordor or whatever. And the other thing was like Gandalf being like, I have no memory of this place.
I forgot that one.
And it was like a really serious moment where you're like, oh shit, they're fucked. Yeah. And he said that, and I just laughed. So I was scared that, because when I think it's the Balrog or I forgot the name of the creature that is.
I think it is the Balrog.
So Balrog or something. I think it's Balrog. I can't remember the exact name of the fucking fire demon creature. Yeah. So when they start running from that, I was like, oh shit, oh it's coming, it's coming, and I thought that because this scene had been such a big part of pop culture and I had seen the scene, that I was like, it's probably not going to hit. It's probably not going to hit as hard. I know it's epic, but it's probably
Balrog.
Balrog. That's it. And
fucking cool.
And holy shit, just seeing the build up of it and bro, Ciaran McKellen. He put his fucking soul in that line.
He did not have to go that hard.
Yeah. Because I didn't realize he said it like, because I'd only seen that line, right? So I didn't realize that he said it like a few times before that line, where he was like, "You shall not pass. You shall not pass," and then he fucking whips. He fucking shall not pass.
Yeah, he goes in. Bro.
He goes so in.
He parries this fucking attack, and then he drops that banger line. Yeah. And then I was like, oh, fuck me. The goosebumps, I'm fucking shaking, man. Holy shit.
Such a good scene.
And then, unfortunately, like, he dies right afterwards. And then,
I want to see
like,
if we can see your reaction.
Yeah.
I would love to see your like. I would love to see your reaction.
It's literally like the last 10 minutes, right, of the first movie, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's literally right at the end.
Yeah. So I don't know how I reacted to this because I might have been just so immersed.
Oh, Garnt, you look so sad. You look so sad. Bro, no, you look distraught. What the heck?
I can't believe they just did that to my boy.
Yeah, so it was like after that I actually like, it's those moments why I fucking love media where I'm like, I'm not much of a reactor. I'm more of like a,
like internal.
Fuck me. That was,
so
that's my biggest praise to Lord of the Rings. You could see how emotionally locked in I was.
Bro, you weren't even blinking. Like, you were so just like...
Yeah, I was just emotionally locked in, and then when he died, I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like feeling emotions now.
Yeah. Such a good film. And I love the like one of the first battles is like when they fight all those knights, and I forgot who died. What's his name who dies?
Boromir.
Boromir.
Yeah, Boromir.
It's been so long. I loved that. As a kid, that was the most hype, like, and I had the game where you... Did you play the PS1 game?
No.
There's a game where you have to fight like 100 knights in the PS1 game and recreate it.
Oh,
It's
shit.
So cool. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Man, so many memories. Such a good time.
It just made me, especially watching the You Shall Not Pass scene, it just made me sad that I couldn't get to experience this
Like,
in
without knowing.
theaters.
Yeah, me too. If they released it in Japan again in the theaters, I'd go in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because I, like, even though I knew that scene, I didn't know a lot surrounding that scene. I didn't know the context.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with Gandalf as well.
Unfortunately, you spoiled a little bit about the Gandalf.
Yeah, but I mean, surprisingly, it didn't matter at all because
it's not going to change the hype.
No. When he dies after like doing that, I felt genuinely sad, even though like I knew it was.
Yeah, we saw it.
You look distraught, bro. Little bro looked distraught.
You could see, look, like me watching that scene is like 10-year-old Garnt. That is the most genuine. I am not a YouTuber anymore. I am a child experiencing this fantasy story.
As you should. It's a great story.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I don't really have many reactions to watching Lord of the Rings. It's just me because I like halfway through, I had like the lights blaring, I had my contacts on, and I was like, I don't want to do this. So I like turned. That's why it was like dark.
Yeah.
Because I turned the lights off. I put my glasses on because I was like, I just want to be me when I experience this.
I respect that.
And I'm very. I told Sydney I was watching Lord of the Rings, and somehow she didn't know I hadn't watched Lord of the Rings. I guess we never had this conversation before. She just assumed. So she was like, all right, well, I got this weekend's planned. I have this weekend's plans on your schedule now. We're watching all Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, I'm excited to watch the rest of it.
Yeah,
Are you gonna watch the rest of this weekend?
Yeah,
you should. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I mean, it makes me sad, like I said, that I couldn't experience it in theaters, but
It's still great.
it's still fucking fantastic. Even it didn't feel like 3 hours. I thought it would. I thought it definitely would.
Yeah.
But it did not feel like 3 hours at all.
I really hope they play it in theaters.
Yeah.
They probably will. I hope. I'm holding out.
Yeah.
So they played The Godfather recently, and I watched that, and that was really fun.
Oh,
We'll talk about that another time, though.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be amazing to watch this in theaters.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
So you like it. So far, we all like the stuff we've been... Well, maybe Fear and Hunger you're in.
Yeah, I'm kind of half off on Fear and Hunger.
I knew you weren't going to like it.
Yeah,
so
no,
I'll
there's
take
lots
that.
I
I'll
appreciate
take that.
about it,
I'll
but
take that.
yeah.
So far, though, we all like everything.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we all know each other pretty well. I guess.
What do you want me to talk about next? I got to talk about either...
I want to hear your thoughts on Darkseid.
Yeah, go
You
on.
want to hear my thoughts on Dark
I
Side?
want to hear your thoughts.
Go on, go on. This is probably
this
gonna
is
be-
the only time we are ever going to hear
Okay,
a succinct review of an
This
album
is-
from Sea Dog VA.
This is probably going to be a very short segment because
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much Connor's going to be able to say about this.
Yeah.
So I fucked up. I didn't record my audio, but like, just so you, Joey, that's what I had. I was like, you know what? I got to appreciate just the music.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
I put a blindfold on and I just listened.
Oh no, that is the
Yeah.
best way to do it.
And so I didn't know when the songs were changing, which was really annoying because I was well, not annoying, but it was nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes I could tell.
Yeah.
So Dark Side of the Moon, yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
What
What did you like about it?
I liked when they actually sang. There was a lot of songs where they didn't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to be on some kind of
Drugs.
substance.
Oh no, 100% you need to be on drugs.
Yeah. I remember like Dark Side of the Moon because it's all like one song. Or
Pretty
it's
much.
like two songs, right? Pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's like the entire album flows into each other. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the first song was just like, just noise.
An intro.
Yeah, it was like, oh.
Yeah, it was an amalgamation of all of the noises you are about to hear for the next 40 or so minutes.
So when I finished, I was like, okay, I remember the ones I liked. And then I looked at the list and I was like, oh, the ones I liked are all the ones that have like 10 times the plays of the other songs.
So
let me guess. Time, money.
Yeah, Time, Money. Those are the good ones.
Yeah.
Because the other ones were like, they were too like atmospheric for me, where I was like, I don't think I'd listen to this. Like, this feels something like my dad would try and convince me is super cool and hype.
I mean, this is like the most dad album of all time.
Yeah, and I'd be like, all right, Dad. And like,
Yeah.
there are some good songs though.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 50-year-old album.
No, I know. Yeah, it was
So-
like 1974 or something. Yeah,
73.
Yeah.
It was, and like again, and I when I was listening, I was like, I could picture the time when this came out,
Yeah.
and I could imagine this being like just a product of its time, of like it really matches the energy of the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, I'm gonna guess you didn't like On the Run or
see. I don't know which song's which.
it's the one before Time.
I don't know.
The one that sounded like a
listened to
dude on the run.
Yeah, there was one where it was like a helicopter sound.
Oh
and
yeah,
like
that's
a-
On the Run.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was strange because I was trying to figure out what the story was.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out like what was the like the premise of the album.
Yeah.
So I had no idea.
It's like life, isn't it?
Well, the premise of the album is basically, so there's a bit of backstory to this album. So this album came out when Syd Barrett, who used to be a member of the band, he left the band.
Yeah.
Because he had a lot of mental issues.
Right.
And so to deal with those mental issues, he left the band. And he was a massive part of Pink Floyd. He was one of the founding members of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
This is an album basically that, I mean, there's lots of ways you can interpret this album, but one of the main interpretations from what I've seen and how I like to describe it is it's an album to describe the mental hardships that people go through in day-to-day life and how some people learn to get over it and how some people learn to live with it, and that there is no right or wrong answer to deal with it. So like that's why, like, for example, you know, like in the song like Time, for instance, there's like a lot of lyrics talking about like, you know, are you wasting time? Are you using your time effectively?
Yeah.
You know, is time is important after time is precious after it's already gone.
Yeah.
You know, and like in the case with Money, for instance, Money is like a great song because it describes like money in all sorts of different ways. How it's the root of all evil. It's bad. It can be good.
Capitalism.
Capitalism. You know.
Yeah.
And like and you know, I think so.
What did you think? My favorite track of Dark Side is Great Gig.
Great Gig in the Sky. That is a beautiful album.
What do you think of that
Beautiful
one?
song.
How did that song
It's
go?
the one where it's the fucking girl going. Ah.
She got paid $50 for that song,
Did she actually?
Yeah.
No fucking way.
and it's all improvised.
Oh really?
Yeah, she was given the piano segment, the instrumental segment, and the
Yeah.
band just said play it and sing it
Yeah.
how you think it should be sung,
Okay.
and that's what she did. And that song is actually about the 5 stages of grief of like losing somebody.
That was a long song, right?
Yeah, that was
about 4 minutes or so.
Really? There's one song that went on forever.
Us and Them, probably.
Maybe like it was like a 7-minute song.
Yeah, that's Us and Them.
And I was like, because I had my blindfold on, so I had no idea where I was at. I was like, I feel like this song's been going on for ages.
Yeah. And like, I'd say one of my favorite songs is probably the last one, Eclipse.
I like that one actually. I like that one a lot. But that one
Because
didn't have a lot of plays when I looked afterwards.
Yeah,
I was like, that's a shame.
I like that. I like that song because I think it actually ties together the meaning of the song in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it talks about like, you know, all encompassing of like everything you learn in life, everything you don't learn in life, and that at the end of the day, the world isn't going to stop just because you're in a particular predicament, or it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going regardless of where you are in life. So you just have to learn to live with that.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been hard for me to figure some of that shit out just from listening. It definitely feels like I need to listen multiple times. Like one time listening to an album is not enough to figure it out.
Yeah.
I did. It was a good vibe, but I just think like at the end of the day, I was like, man, I don't think I'd listen to this again. But I did enjoy it though.
To be fair, it's not my favorite Pink Floyd album.
Yeah.
But it is, you know,
It's like one of the most famous ones.
It is one of the most celebrated. And you know, if you think about it, like just listening to the sounds of this album, it's crazy to think that they managed to create these sounds fucking 50 years ago.
I mean, I like money. I like that they're all using like cash sounds for like the back. That's fun.
The sampling of the cash.
Register go to.
My problem with money is that it's been used in like so many movies now that it's.
I recognize that song a bunch. I was like,
It's like, okay, someone in the movie is gaining money or having a bad.
Play Money by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Play Money by Pink Floyd. It's been just so overused in pop culture, unfortunately. But what kind of do you feel any emotions?
What emotions did you feel?
Yeah. Let's not talk about the meaning of the song.
it was just kind of, unfortunately, vibe situation for me. I didn't really feel a whole lot of powerful emotions, more so like a kind of relaxed.
Yeah.
I was just kind of relaxed. I was just very relaxed. That's all I can say. There was not much else to it. I mean, if I open it up, you can probably see me like slowly like just.
Bro just fell asleep.
It honestly looks like I think I've fallen asleep by the end of it. Why?
Your fucking face is just.
Why the fuck does it like not? Why the hell does it?
I guess it stopped recording after a while.
Might be corrupted.
Yeah,
I think
it might be corrupted.
It might be. Yeah, I wonder. It must be a point where I just. Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was good. I liked it, but I just don't think I'd listen to it again.
Yeah.
But there's no slant on that. Just not my style, really.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
What?
Did your dad like it?
My dad does like it, but it's not his favorite Pink Floyd album.
I can imagine getting into this if like my dad told me about it when I was a kid and I had those kind of memories towards it. But I think now I was like,
I mean, my dad showed me Floyd like when I was very, very young.
I think that would definitely help in terms of like maybe getting a little more invested.
Yeah,
in it, right?
I can appreciate this album, I think, but I do think that it is in some sense a little overhyped. You know, I mean, it's an incredible piece of music, don't get me wrong, but I think in terms of like the band making like a musical statement, I think there are better albums out there. I think The Wall is better.
I don't know what album I could even listen to that I'd be like, wow, I walked away feeling that was life-changing or amazing. Like, I don't think there's anything that would do that.
I think
for me it was The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing about just music or art in general is that a lot of times you have to be in the right place.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's art is about communication. They're communicating a feeling or an idea or something. Yeah. And a lot of times, if you're just not in the right mental space to, especially in some of these deeper pieces of media, if you're just not in the right mental space to just be like, I just want to see something entertain me, you know, then you're just not going to get the message. And that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine.
Because sometimes in order to have something that is a life-changing piece of media, sometimes maybe something has happened in your life. Maybe you're searching for something and you watch that one thing that makes you have that realization that you wouldn't have had maybe like.
Oh, there have been many instances where I've listened to an album for the first time and it didn't hit me as hard, and then I'd listen to it again after a certain period of time and it affected me in a completely different way.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's very fair. It's all subjective at the end of the day.
Sorry, Pink Floyd fans, I probably won't listen to.
No, it's all good.
Nah.
It's all good. At least you gave it a try.
You
That's
gave
all
it a
that
try.
matters.
You gave it a
That's what it's
try.
all about. We're all going to try things.
Yeah.
Next time, take some drugs and you
Okay,
might change.
Well, yeah, I'll take a strong zero.
Take a couple strong
Take us on
zeros.
zero. Yeah.
So what else did you consume, Joey?
So the other thing I consumed was, should we talk about it?
Arcane?
I watched Arcane.
Yes. Yes.
I watched first episode of Arcane finally. Yeah.
Arcane.
I watched Arcane.
I just want to see your face right at the end. Oh no, that's not good, is it?
I think that's like mid stretch.
That's not a good sign.
Is he smiling? No. Okay, please, Joey, smile. Oh god,
no.
Oh god, every frame he's just bored.
Well, no, okay, here's the thing. I actually didn't talk a lot during Arcane because I actually wanted to focus in on the story because obviously there's a story there.
Yeah.
Obviously,
obviously there's
a story there, right? So, and because I have absolutely zero knowledge on anything League of Legends, right? I'm looking at all this for the first time. Like, I don't know who the fuck any of these people are. Look, I would like to think it gets better after episode 1. Does it?
What was wrong with episode 1?
What was wrong with episode 1?
Nothing wrong with episode 1, but
Okay.
I think it wasn't the strongest episode.
So describe what happens in episode 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Describe the plot of Arcane to the viewers who might not know.
Okay. So episode 1 begins with I assume who is eventually going to become Jinx. In this case, she's called Powder. I think her name was.
Yeah, she does.
And her big sister, forgot her name, pink-haired girl. Vi, that's it. Yeah. So Vi and Powder, they're like in a war-torn like town or something. Something's happened to their town or wherever they are, and I guess they've just like witnessed their parents dying to some like resistance group or something.
Yeah.
And Vi's like, I'm gonna fucking kill these MFers. And then it time skips to Vi, Powder, and like these 2 other guys who are trying to steal a bunch of, I guess, artifacts or treasure or something like that from some rich place. They're obviously from like a poor slummy area. I got that immediately. So they ransack this dude's place. Powder picks up these like random blue crystals that she found in a chest or something.
Yeah.
Puts one in her pocket. Accidentally drops one. Whoopsies. It turned out to be some kind of bomb. So she so she basically just like terrorized bombs this place. They get chased down into the crowd.
Yeah.
They make it back to safety. These goons like try to mug them basically.
Yeah.
And in the pursuit of all of that, Powder throws all of the treasure that they just ransacked into the river, essentially losing it. They fucked up the entire operation. Vi's pretty pissed off. Everyone's pretty pissed off. The big guy, I forgot his name. There's too many bloody characters in this already. Basically, like the mayor of where they live. I forgot the guy's name. Nice big guy. It's just like, hey, don't worry about it. At least you're safe. At least you're whatever. And then I guess Powder loses confidence in herself that like she's useless and she can't do anything. She feels powerless. Meanwhile, Vi is like, nah, don't worry. You've got your own quirks. You've got your own strengths. You're a strong individual. We'll get out of here eventually.
Yeah.
But then she's like, oh, actually, I saved one of the bombs or the blue crystal things in my pocket. And then Vi's like, that's our little secret. And then that's where the first episode ends. So I didn't get a whole lot of information from this first episode. Visually and animation-wise, fucking brilliant. It looks and feels and moves great.
Yeah.
But in terms of story, I just don't think I got enough context in this first episode. And I'm sure from here on, we're going to learn more about the story, more about the world and characters. But I don't know. I watched this after the first episode of Breaking Bad, so my expectations were quite high. You know? Yeah, maybe I fucked myself up with that. Yeah. So after watching the first episode of Breaking Bad, this first episode of Arcane was just all right. And I was
It's hard. I mean, I think the Breaking Bad first episode is better.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Maybe we should have watched Arcane first.
Yeah, maybe I should have watched Arcane first. I don't know, but and so just purely based on episode 1, I just thought it was all right.
So would you continue watching it if you?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay, here's the biggest thing that hooked me on Arcane, because I think the real holy shit moment comes at episode 3, where that's where I guess the first story arc ends, and you kind of like get a holy shit moment. Shit starts happening. A lot of this that I got invested in was just the world building in this, because it has such a unique world that blends like kind of like fantasy with a little bit of magic as well. Because with League of Legends, I was like, one thing that I thought was super interesting is that League is obviously it's a game, right? And when they're designing a game, you just want to make cool characters. You don't really think about how to make them all coexist in this coherent world. And so one of the things that I was interested in was just seeing so many different elements like kind of coexist in this one cohesive world that's they're kind of like building up. So with Piltover, it's kind of like this technology based like science system as well.
Yeah.
And I just it kind of impressed me how alive they made the world of Piltover.
Although admittedly, when I was watching this like thing of like, you know, the I guess the rich upper class where they're stealing from, and then they go back down into like the slum poor areas, I was like, oh, this is Final Fantasy VII. This is literally Final Fantasy
VII did not invent having.
No, I know, but I was like, oh, this is like Final Fantasy VII world.
But it is kind of like that.
It's pretty much like that. Yeah, it's like technology driven, rich upper class that lives above, and then the slum poor areas that are below.
Motherfucker.
It's Final Fantasy VII. It's literally the same.
You motherfucker, Joe.
You hate me because I'm right.
Yeah, but the writing's better in Arcane.
No, I'm sure it is. But like, I think, maybe I just didn't get enough context just from this first episode.
It means you got to watch another one, at least.
Well, if we do another one of these episodes, I'll watch it.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Just watch the full season. Just think about how much more we can talk about it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So you probably won't continue. Is what I'm getting.
I wasn't like excited to see the next one, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm sure it is an interesting world, but just purely based off episode 1, it didn't hook me in or anything.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I mean, I feel like episode 1, was it an hour?
It's an hour, yeah.
About 40 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was like episode 3 where the plot really pops off, and then it has some of the most insanely animated scenes I have seen in like a...
Oh, dude, even episode 1, like even like a simple scene where like the gang is fighting off like the muggers and stuff like that, like that was, some of it was really well animated, and it's like really, really good stuff. But
like there is this one fight scene which I think is just like a fucking masterpiece, and it's between like 2 characters, and the way they portray the scene, they show the characters fighting, but they also have like a backstory together as well, and it like intercuts between their present fights and when they were kids, and it's like it was like such a masterclass of storytelling just condensed into 3 minutes. And that to me, like, obviously at the end of episode 3, things start to pop off, but also I think Arcane in general, for an animated TV show, there are some scenes up there which I think are like for a TV series, like Spider-Verse level kinds of like just cool ass shit, cool ass animation and stuff like that. And I think the best thing you could do is just forget that it's League of Legends.
Yeah.
No. To be fair, I as I was watching it, I completely forgot it was like League of Legends, and I just wanted to watch it and like analyze it just as a standalone story, which I did.
You've played League.
So I mean, we did play League on...
it must have been very different.
No, it wasn't.
What? It's very different. You didn't play any of those characters.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah. My question to you is, could you tell who was an in-game character and who wasn't?
Nope. Who knows? I mean, I assume, like, I know Jinx is a playable character.
So obviously Jinx and Vi, the main 2.
Oh, see, I didn't know Vi was.
Yeah, those two
okay.
No.
Yeah,
Again, I don't, I know nothing about it.
No, so that's why I'm like super curious. Who do you think is a playable character out of the characters that you saw? Even if you don't know the names, you can just describe them.
I mean, I know Jinx is a playable character. Yeah. I didn't think Vi, I thought Vi was like the Arcane specific character.
Yeah.
I assume like the big guy, the leader of the village.
No, he's not.
He's not?
No, he's
not. Okay, he seems like one.
He should though.
He should. Yeah. Did they introduce the villain of Arcane?
Right at the end.
Right at the end?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the first episode ends with like the villain who's like putting in some contact to stop him having red eye or something.
Yeah.
And then they do an experiment on a mouse, which ends up killing the cat. And then it's like, the subject is ready. So that part I was like kind of curious to be like, okay, where's that gonna lead?
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that actually. Yeah. Other than that, I was like, yeah, okay, this is like,
I think
this is nice.
is season 2 coming out this year?
Yes, this
Yes,
year.
this
It's the final
November.
season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final season.
Well, final season of this story arc.
Yeah, they're gonna just probably do like a different story.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to a different part of the world after this, probably
Okay.
with different characters.
Yeah.
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 There are a lot of playable characters that you saw, by the way.
Oh, really?
So there was you saw young Echo, the black
one's
kid.
that?
I don't think do you see Echo in the first one? I'm not sure
I
if
think you do.
You see a black kid in the first one?
With blonde hair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a playable character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you see?
I thought it was like a
Caitlyn,
throwaway character.
Maybe Caitlyn, you see? You see Caitlyn?
Do you see a blue haired girl?
Other than powder?
No, a black head, long black hair. No, you see
Long black
Jace. You see
hair.
Jace, right?
Yeah, I think so.
You see like a scientist guy. He's like
Scientist guy.
studying. He's like a generic white man.
I don't remember. They all look like generic white men. Jace? No, I don't remember this guy.
Did he not get introduced in episode 1?
I thought he did.
I'm surprised how little got introduced in episode 1 then, because I was like, damn, it felt like
I
it felt
didn't
in my
see this
mind.
guy.
It felt in my
I think
mind.
you see like Singed. I think.
Yeah.
You see.
You see, I think you see Singed.
Introduce Jace. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Most of the time, it was focused on Vi and Powder.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was unfortunate.
Hey, it's not terrible. I just thought it was all right.
Oh yeah, so it's the Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, it is.
It's the Jujutsu Kaisen of animation, right?
It was
Right.
good. Story right now is just kind of whatever.
We'll get him. We'll get him next time, guys. We'll get him next time.
It's just Final Fantasy VII World with League of Legends characters.
Oh my god.
That's better. It's a better story than Final Fantasy.
I'm sure it is. And look,
I think.
admittedly, again, I'm saying all of this just based off episode 1. I'm
Yeah.
sure it gets better after episode 1. But as an episode 1, I thought it was just okay.
Well, following on from Joey, then I watched the thing that everyone wanted me to watch.
Yeah.
Watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
All right. First, how many episodes?
4 episodes.
First 4 episodes. Okay.
So,
How was it?
talking about first episodes, is that an awful first episode, man?
Yeah, the first episode is not great.
What happens in the first episode?
They chase this ice alchemist, and I'm like,
yeah.
and I'm like, am I meant to know all these characters? Why are you introducing these characters like this?
Yeah, I remember.
This is such a
I
weird.
thought I had the wrong episode when I watched it the first time.
Yeah, I felt like I felt me too. I was like, did I just drop in mid-season or something?
Yeah.
Like, the only reason I know of these characters is because I've seen their faces running around on like profile pictures and out of context screenshots. But it felt like the series just assumed that I just knew everyone, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's Ed. The only character that I was like left an impression on me was like fucking Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
I just like I didn't know who he was, but all he needed was just one scene where he just like punches the guy, and he was
Yeah.
like, "This is the technique passed down on the Armstrong generation." And I was like, "All right, I'm sold.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
yeah,
Fucking
I was-
Giga Chad.
it is
What
Armstrong.
an absolute Giga Chad."
So I guess do you want
So-
to tell us the rough plot of what you experienced?
So aside from the first episode where they were just like running around trying to find this ice alchemist that I don't know if that's going to lead anywhere. Maybe that comes in play later. So the real introduction for me felt like it was in episode 2 where we get introduced to Ed and Al. And they are kids. And there is this... Okay, the first thing that really stood out to me is I really, really like the power system of FMA. It's such a simple concept where it's like law of equivalent exchange, but just taking that little concept, which is, that's like the magic of its world, but still very much grounding it in some kind of science, where you can't just create something from nothing. There needs to be some kind of science behind what they are doing, where it's like they are rearranging matter and stuff like that. But I really liked that power system that allowed them to do really unique things with whatever different alchemists specialized in. I thought that was like super interesting. But so we start off with like Ed and Al doing a big no-no thing, trying to make a human, trying to make a human.
Yeah,
they were like, oh, of course, fucking dead parents as usual.
Yep,
as usual as every
it's
anime.
The 2000s.
Yeah,
the
it's 2000. Well,
I
I don't think anime's grown out of that, to be fair. Yeah. They're either dead parents or they're missing, and they try to make their mum. They try to recreate their mum, and it goes bad. It goes bad.
More than bad.
It goes more than bad.
Great.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to know is was this Shonen Jump or was this something else?
This is Champion. No, it's Champion or Sunday, I think.
Yeah, because one thing that surprised me is how dark it was.
Yeah, it starts very dark.
Yeah, I mean, it starts very dark, and obviously, I think the biggest thing that threw me off was some of the light-hearted scenes and some of, and I think some of the comedy, I'm not sure if it hasn't aged well or if it was ever funny. Was Ed being short ever funny? Like,
no, it's not a good joke,
No.
and they keep like talking about it.
Yeah.
It's Shonen Gangan, which is
Shonen Gangan?
Square Enix owned.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah, Short King.
yeah, so I was like, there are some things which was so painfully mid 2000s. Like
That's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
It's like some of the jokes had just aged terrible.
I think when people like think about it, they just forget all that shit.
Yeah.
They just remember all the cool bits.
Yeah.
yeah, like the Ed being short thing. It's just like, oh, that's this. It's a little
they
tiny
constantly-
person. It's
yeah.
like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Go me short again. Go again. I'm just like,
It's like Alphonse is the younger brother, but he's twice Ed's height. Hee hee.
yeah.
It's like, all right, we get it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that joke, they use it like throughout the entire
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many times.
acting.
Yeah, but what I did like about it was I did not expect it to be so dark so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Or they like had like they weren't afraid to show a lot of dark themes and just killing people off in really grotesque manners. You know, I felt kind of bad. So there was this Shonen aspect to it where, you know, Ed had just lost his arm and his leg. His brother is now a coat of armor, and Roy is just like, I forget the exact speech, but he's just
deal with
like,
it.
keep your fucking head up, man. It's like, get over it.
But you got a champ.
Yeah, get over it. You're gonna be an alchemist. Get over it. Sometimes life gives you lemons. You need to make
Stop
lemonade.
being a fucking pussy.
Yeah. I don't like.
And get up.
Bro, chill. That's like a 10-year-old kid that just gone through the most traumatic experience in his life, and then he goes out, and then the blonde-haired girl is just like, I think you're a bit harsh on him, and then he's like, no, I saw fire in his eyes. And it's just like a shot of Ed being like, and I'm like, that ain't no way a fucking 10-year-old kid has just gone through all that, and it's suddenly been like, all right, I'm a fight through
I'm
this.
like, he ain't locking in. He's 10 years old.
Yeah, but I was like, I can't imagine what this was like watching as a kid, because seeing the scene of their mum getting resurrected and just seeing the fucking whatever grotesque monster that they had just conjured up, I can imagine some of this being scarring as a kid, which gets me to I understood why you guys asked me to watch episode 4.
Yeah.
Of course, when I saw the kid and I saw the dog, I was like, okay. Like, I think, unfortunately, unlike Lord of the Rings, where knowing what happened beforehand didn't really hamper my experience of watching the thing.
This one does, yeah.
This one definitely did, because
I somehow experienced that without being spoiled on that.
yeah.
So I think I was watching anime outside of like an anime community at that point.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like.
Oh, I read this actually when it was serialized.
You can imagine how you know when you're watching anime and you can imagine how insane doing that must have been.
Yeah.
When you're like.
I mean, there's a reason why people still meme about it today, right?
It was just unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like genuinely curious, because I obviously knew it was coming, and watching it this time, knowing like what the end result, you see the hints there. You see like, oh, something's wrong with his father, man. He don't have all like the screws. He has a few screws loose. So I was like wondering what was your guys' reaction genuinely
when you
the
know
first
something,
time?
you know something's up.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what it is. And then when it turns the kid into the dog, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, seeing and then seeing.
But I think it's really good because like at that particular episode / chapter, the writing on what's his name, Shotaka? No,
Shotaka,
right?
Yeah.
The writing on Shotaka is so subtle.
Yeah.
Where it's like you experience this dude for the first time and just like I don't know how Arakawa Hiromi did it, but she managed to kind of portray Sho in this like immediately like, oh, something's up.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even have to say a word. Just like the way the character is like drawn.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been around a person at one point in life where you're like, this energy is.
Yeah. She managed to manifest that into an anime character like right at the get-go. So immediately you're already uncomfortable going into this episode.
Yeah.
And then when he actually, does the demon's deed and does that, you're just like, I was expecting it, but I wasn't expecting it to be this horrendous.
I was expecting something,
yeah,
but I wasn't expecting that.
That was the last thing on my bingo card.
Yeah.
Do you plan to continue watching?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I really enjoyed. There was another part that stood out to me of being a little bit like this, a little bit so painfully mid-2000s as well. So there was a scene, there was an episode with a priest. Do you remember this episode where
the priest?
No. It's like, can you load up the reaction? So
yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, so there is this scene, or it's episode 3, where they go to this church. So there's this priest that is kind of like gaining fake followers by performing miracles, which he's like actually secretly using the Philosopher's Stone for.
I don't remember this episode.
Do you remember this guy?
No, I do remember this guy.
I don't.
Yeah. So I think he was a forgettable villain.
Dad reacts.
Dad reacts to FMA episode 3.
Well, they're handing out qualification for anything nowadays, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow! Look at this. Whoa!
Cornello.
Look at this anti-copyright. Holy
God!
Yeah. So what happens is, so he's just faking, trying to perform miracles, getting fake followers for his religion and stuff like that, and then Ed and Al come in and ruin the party.
Right.
And how do they ruin it? So Ed makes the priest follow him into a room. And he's just like, and Ed's like, so you're just a fake, aren't you? Priest proceeds to go on a 5-minute monologue being like, yes, everyone in this town is idiots. I'm secretly tricking everybody. Oh, I am evil, dude. I am a bad dude. And what happens? Ed is secretly recording the entire thing and broadcasting it to the city. And I'm like, this is like the ending of every mid-2000s Disney movie.
Yeah.
Where the bad guy goes on a monologue and it's just like, actually, I was recording.
I have the receipts.
I have the receipts. You just outed yourself.
That's a bit lame.
And I was like, oh man, this is so painfully mid-2000s.
Yeah.
But like I said, my favorite parts of FMA was a lot of the power systems, was a lot of the darker themes, and a lot of the more, every time it was serious, I thought it was fucking fantastic. And I was like, I could see why this blew up so much, because it explored things that a lot of, especially a lot of shonen shows back in the day were just not going as hard or as dark.
I feel like it does a very good way of discussing war in a really earnest way as well later on, and I think that's where it really shines, because I think I'm not sure how it was all published, but it definitely feels like, at least when you're watching it, that especially the original Fullmetal Alchemist, not Brotherhood, that it's kind of like Monster of the Week energy for the first 10 chapters.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like
it's
that.
kind of like a Scooby-Doo, where it's like, we got to deal with this guy with alchemy. Whoa, guys. And then I think after there's a pivotal moment about, I don't know what happens in the Brotherhood, but I know it's in the original, it's 15 episodes or 12 episodes in. Then it starts to finally be like, all right, let's tackle an overarching narrative here. But it definitely, I think, it has a really weak start. I think. But people don't talk about it. People never talk about the really like boring start.
Yeah, it takes a while to rev up.
But it gets really good when it gets good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it did a really good job at least hooking me in, at least in episode 2. Episode 1 was like, episode 2, there was this really interesting scene where he, does the alchemy to do his, to reanimate his mum. And then he gets transported to like the gates or something and he meets...
Oh, yeah.
Some kid
or
something, and you don't know who the kid is, what is going on. He gets the secrets of the universe just like fucking tapped into him for a second, and I'm like, all right, I kind of want to know what's going on. And then the episodes after that were just like, all right, Monster of the Week kind of thing. The Shotaka thing would have shocked me if I didn't know what was happening. But honestly, like I'm very, very interested to see what kind of mystery this world unfolds, and just seeing more cool action, I guess. I'm not too sold on Ed right now. I don't know if he gets more likable. Right now he just does seem like...
I think he gets a bit better.
Right.
From my memory.
Yeah.
I didn't like him that much in the start either.
Yeah, right now he does just seem like short man syndrome, where he's on a cartoonish level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I assume it's going to get a lot better as they explore more characters. And
let us know when you finish it.
We'll
talk about it.
All right.
Your reaction to Full Metal is exactly the same as mine to Arcane. Like, I'm sure it gets better. There's a lot of interesting elements. I'm sure it just gets better.
No, I mean there was I enjoyed my time. Some of it was just like, oh, this is a 2000s anime.
Oh yeah,
oh, this is a 2000s anime.
I guess next up for me, I read Sayonara Eri.
Oh shit.
It's good.
It's a one shot by Fujimoto Tatsuki, the creator of Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
You guys just kept giving me depressing shit. I realize this now. Why'd you all give me depressing stuff?
Because we love the depressing shit.
I guess I did.
Yeah, all of my shit was just miserable.
No, Dark Side is like is hope in the inside melancholy.
That was chill. That was not. I finished on Dark Side, so it was kind of nice to just listen to something and be like, all right.
Yeah.
So do you want to describe what Sayonara Eri is?
It's kind of interesting to describe, but it basically opens up with a mum being like, look, I'm dying. Please film my last moments. Film everything. And so he's filming everything. He's showing all her mum doing these things. She's battling this disease. We don't know what. And then eventually, we realize in the first few moments, while he's like, we're seeing these scenes through the camera, that it's actually being played to a crowd in school during like a film festival. And then right at the end of the movie, when he's about to go, his dad's like, come on, your mum's about to pass away. We got to go see her. He's like, I can't do it. And then as he says, I can't do it, the hospital explodes and he jumps like away from it. And then everyone in the school is like, what the fuck? Like, dude, because his mum actually dies in the story. So he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Why would you ruin a heartfelt like movie and you're a monster? Your mum would have been pissed. And so he gets like, he's like, oh shit, fuck, this is the worst. This is so terrible. He's like, I know what to do. I'm going to kill myself. So he goes to this rooftop and he's like, all right. And he records a little message saying goodbye. And he's like, all right, well, guys, you guys did this to me. I'm bullied. I'm going to do it. So he goes to the rooftop, about to jump. This girl's like, no, don't do that. You'll inconvenience everyone. And by the way, this hospital's good. You should go and do it with a shit one. Oh, no, so this one's bad. This is a good hospital. You should go and do it at a shit one and inconvenience them.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, you know what? She's like, I saw that movie you made. That was fucking awesome. You should come and watch movies with me. So they go to this abandoned hospital, watch tons of movies, form like this kind of romance. And then it's when it starts to get weird.
Yeah.
It starts to get like, you're like, all right, okay. So it starts to get like, it starts to slowly repeat itself. She's like, hey, so I can't remember the exact order, but on the lines of, she's like, by the way, I'm a vampire and I'm going to die. So could you film everything for me? And you're like, what? She's like, I want you to make a movie about me. He's like, yeah, sure. Okay. So they start filming everything. They have all these like couple dates. It's really romantic, really sad, really sad. I cried at one point. It was so sad.
Yeah.
I started tearing up because I was like, God damn, this is so fucking emotional. And then she eventually passes away. And there's something else that happened as well. I can't remember. But she basically passes away. And then it turns out she didn't pass away. But sorry, hold on. I skipped over something. Sorry, I'm trying to recap all this story for you. You should definitely read it yourself. So she wants to help. The reason why she wants to help him make a movie is because she wants to get back at everyone in school, show him that he can make a movie that'll make everyone cry and touch their heartstrings. So she helps him do that by, I guess, dying. So, and they have this heartfelt movie, does it, and then, it's very emotional, and then his life goes on, and he's fucking miserable.
Yeah.
And then suddenly one day, she's there again, even though he's older.
Yeah.
She's there again. And then she explains like, yeah, you see, it is true. I am a vampire, actually, because we thought it was fake.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, I am a vampire, actually. And the movie actually helped me regain my memories because I die every like 300 years or something.
Yeah.
So I thank you for that. That's a lot better than reading a note. He's like, what? And then I guess as he leaves the hospital being like, what the fuck was that? The abandoned hospital explodes.
Yeah.
And
it's
then that's it.
It's one of the greatest endings.
Oh, that ending to that short was just like
that blew my mind.
Yeah, that was like one of the best endings to a one shot I think I've like ever read. Just because it's really weird. It's really confusing at times to think like you don't know what is reality and what is not. But I feel like it was the most Tatsuki Fujimoto thing I've like ever.
What else did he write?
Chainsaw Man.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was very. The character. Actually, the guy looked like when he was old. He looked like the smoking guy from Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah, I guess he did.
What's impressive as well is that he wrote that without telling anyone. Like he's still writing Chainsaw Man. In the midst of him writing Chainsaw Man every month, he was just like, I'm just gonna write this 160-page one shot and then just give it to my editor and see what he thinks.
Yeah,
it was really cool. I mean, I liked how open for interpretation it was.
Yeah, there's always this balance where sometimes I hate it if there is too much open for interpretation where I'm like, I don't even know what you're trying to say anymore. But like, I think
there needs to be something. Like something needs to be said. But it's okay for it to not all make sense.
Exactly.
There was one moment in particular that I thought was really cool, and where I felt like they took it to the next level, was as they were filming, or I think when they were filming this thing about Eri, he'd already filmed his mom. Now he's filming, basically doing the same thing again. Like a loop. He goes like, no, actually, my mom was like horrible to me. And then he starts showing footage where she was just being like, no, I look terrible in this, or you're a piece of shit. Why can't you do this right?
The parts he didn't put in the film.
And the parts he didn't put in the film, and where our mom's like, look, and then it turns out, we find out that his mom is like a TV director. She's like, I want this to be a story about me fighting cancer and surviving it. So it needs to be like motivational. And she's like chewing him out, being horrible to him about it, making him do this. And it's probably like already hard enough for him. But obviously the movie that we see in the start is totally different to that. It's very heartfelt.
Yeah.
And I thought, that's really cool. What a cool way to show like, it's not,
everything isn't as it seems.
Media is not always so
it's all about perspective.
Black and white. And which I found really interesting because then it was kind of preparing you to be like, look, it's probably going to be the same deal again with the next loop. So don't believe everything you're going to see. And then obviously right at the end, after this really heartfelt, emotional thing, they start to then show you again, hey, Eri wasn't great to him. Or at least that's what we're being told.
Yeah.
But then as well, I suppose that's meant to make you think like, is this a fair, is the mangaka being fair to us by telling us the way he's feeding us information is very, it's very purposeful in that he wants you to doubt this now.
Yeah.
And so and I really enjoyed that he was expressing like how hard it is to write a story and express ideas and putting ideas in people's head without being too forceful.
Yeah.
Like how do you tell someone, how are you as the author decide who's bad?
Yeah. And
Very
I
interesting.
think the fact that he's made you think this much about like I guess a story, because this is I guess this is like the most I've ever heard you talk about like a manga or anything like that. It's I think that's just like the genius that I've Goodbye Sayonara Eri was like what convinced me that he was just a fucking genius in storytelling, because there are just so many like little things about how he like tells the story or like what he shows, and the way he shows the story was also like so fucking unique to like manga as well. The fact that it was like all like 4 panels. And then, you know...
Yeah, the way... The fact that even just at the beginning when you're watching this movie, the way he, like, draws each panel to make it the exact frame of an iPhone screen.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see, like, in between shots of, like, when the
messy,
camera
messy
moves.
movement.
Yeah, like, that was just genius.
Yeah, I really like the even though I went through them quite fast, really like the sections when there was tons of panels that were just slight movements.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I like the whole thing. I thought it was really good.
It's very cinematic.
The ending was also kind of cool. I liked that it kind of threw everything out and was like, well, it's up to you what you And I felt like the message that it was not the message, but I felt like what he was trying to say was like, listen, the story is not the important part.
Yeah.
What's true and what isn't is not important. It is about being able to understand what you are being fed, the information, and how you interpret that.
Yeah, because I thought like I remember like turning the page and like just the hospital exploding.
The double page spread explosion.
After like the whole reveal was like I'm an actual vampire, and you're just like, oh, that's what the fuck? That's weird. Is this real? I don't know. Is this real? And then you just open and you turn the page, hospital explodes, and you're like, holy fuck!
To me, it all felt like a kind of a comment on that, like, why can't these characters be real if they're in a fantasy thing?
Yeah, right.
And that's the explosion I felt, and what he meant by adding fantasy to everything.
Yeah,
it felt like his kind of commentary on the fact that you can still have these real characters, and then being in a fantasy elements doesn't take away from that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you being able to discern that yourself. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I think everyone can have their own interpretation of the story, because I think, you know, I think Goodbye Sayonara Eri is just like it's just a really, really tight package as well. It's just like, how many pages is it? Like 170 pages?
40-minute read.
150, 160 pages.
Yeah, just like a volume of manga, like a 40 minute read. And you get an absolute roller coaster of a story that you think you know what's happening, and then it throws you a curveball, and then throws you other curveballs, and then by the end, you kind of just, it's one of those manga where you just have to like, you finish the last page, you just have to think about it for a bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I just sat there like, shit.
Yeah. Like, shit.
It's like, damn.
And I think that's just, and I think a story like that is just so fucking powerful, and only a few people can do that.
Agreed.
And also, I think every genius needs to be a little bit weird.
Oh, 100%.
Which I think Fujimoto definitely is.
Yeah. He's easily the
very
weirdest
much so.
motherfucker in the manga industry today.
Banger.
Actual banger.
What a fucking banger.
His other one shot he wrote before Sayonara Eri, Look Back, is getting a movie.
Yeah, it's getting a movie.
End of this month, which I am watching because I love that one. Animated.
Animated by Studio
film.
Mappa.
Yeah, Mappa.
Yeah.
Wow.
That one is actually not as weird as Sayonara Eri. Okay. That one's a little bit more straightforward.
That one made me cry.
That one made me cry as well.
So I'm really excited
so
to
did
watch
Sayonara Eri. That one made me cry
Look
as
Back
well.
made me cry.
But this is the manga. Have you seen the latest Chainsaw Man panels that have been posted?
I have.
Yeah.
I'm actually caught up to date with Chainsaw Man.
I was like, this man's on something else, man.
Yeah.
This man just draws what he wants.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
In a good way.
In a great way. In a great way. Even though it's your turn, Jerry, I think I know what I want to end this podcast on.
Yep.
So I guess I'll talk about my last thing.
Yep.
Which was Cuphead.
You got to play Cuphead for
I
an hour?
got to play.
God.
Have you played it, Joey?
Yes, I've beaten it.
You know, this is where the game journalist meme came from.
Yeah. I saw that when I was doing the tutorial.
Yeah.
Remember the Cuphead?
Yeah, the
Cuphead tutorial, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't get past this.
Yeah.
The little bro struggle on the tutorial. Here we go. So look. Let's see if Garnt is a game journalist.
Let's see if he can parry.
All right.
Oh.
Okay. Even though it taught me the parry thing, I didn't understand to look out for anything pink until way later.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Let's see if you get stuck on the game journalist section.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
Wait,
Is it?
I thought I already passed it. It's one of the first.
No. There's, you gotta. Oh,
No, it is.
No,
It's literally the first thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that part he just couldn't do.
Yeah, I don't
What, the
know
jump
why.
and
I don't know
dash?
why, honestly.
Yeah. I think so.
Honestly, this game was a lot of fun.
Yeah, right.
This game's fantastic.
This game is like, okay, I will tell you my favorite part of this game, and I'll tell you like my least favorite part of this game.
Go on.
So I loved this game when it was just like, just give me a boss. Like, I fucking love boss rush games, and I am less of a fan of having to go through like an entire stage.
The Mega Man stage.
The Mega Man platforming stage, that was probably like my least favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
So I just like grind out as many bosses as I could. Yeah. And I don't know, like how fast can you beat the game, Connor? Because I know you speed ran it for like a good...
My best was 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Which was... I don't know if that required every stage or just
I think that's any percent, right?
Might have been, just get to the end.
Yeah.
40 minutes I could do it.
I think the world record's 22.
Yeah. I think, just like... I don't know if the game is meant to be hard, but at least for like the difficulty curve that I experienced, it had this perfect balance of just like... I grinded enough to make it feel like I had to in order to like figure out the bosses and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so much that it was like super frustrating to defeat every boss.
There's some really tough bosses. I think one of the main criticisms of the game was that it was too hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think a lot of people felt like it was too difficult. It's honestly way harder co-op because there's just so much shit on the screen.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
And you have to revive your friend, and it's really hard to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
The visuals and the music.
Holy shit, the animation and the animation.
Dude.
Is it true that
it's hand drawn?
It's hand drawn.
Yeah, hand drawn.
That's fucking insane to me. Yeah.
And all like orchestral. Like it's like the
soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
The soundtrack on this boss, and also just the visuals.
Yeah.
Oh,
so many memes with the flower, because he always starts out like
the moon is hard as well.
Yeah.
So you go down and you go to this guy. You're about to go to the other.
Yeah.
So you go to this because you remember the meme where it's like girls when X, and then it'd be like when the flower smiles like that.
Yeah.
That's like the meme.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most challenging one that I did was maybe the flower. I think I was stuck on this for a while, and
the flower's tough.
Yeah,
did you beat it?
I beat it.
Dude, the moon one for me, I was stuck.
The moon is tough too. I know Garnt was doing that.
This guy was tough as well.
Yeah,
all the airplane stages were pretty tough.
Yeah, this one I don't know which.
This was so hard.
Yeah.
You did it nice.
I think it just had quick because I actually really like bullet hells.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I didn't realize that Cuphead was just basically a boss rush kind of like bullet hell kind of game, which is just like my kind of game, honestly. Because it reminded me of Mega Man a lot. And,
I mean, it was very heavily influenced by games like that for sure.
Yeah. But like the animation of this is insane.
So good.
Look at that, man. And the film grain too.
The film grain.
I love it.
And every time the music was just like,
Yeah.
God, it's so clean.
It's just such a clean package. How long is the game? Like how long?
I beat it in about, my first playthrough I think was like maybe 3 hours.
3 hours?
I think it's longer than that for your first one.
Really?
I think it'll be like a.
I think I beat it in about 3 or 4 hours.
Really? What's the average? I'm just curious.
Yeah, because I think I recorded for an hour and I just beat the moon person.
Yeah, I swear it's normally like
10 and a half
I think
hours?
your first playthrough will be pretty long because some of the bosses are just so tough.
Right.
Maybe I just clutched through some of them.
Maybe you did. Maybe you're goated at it. It seems like on average 10 hours people beat it.
Yeah. I mean that sounds about right for me. I was making like decent progress on it.
I'd beaten like every boss without getting hit. I'd speedrun it a ton. Like
my least favorite one is the fucking clown one.
Oh,
on the roller coaster.
Oh god, that level sucks.
That one sucked. I think I spent the most amount of time on this guy.
This guy
sucks.
This guy's a lot later on. You wouldn't meet him. He's much later on. God.
I hate this guy.
No. You know what the worst one is, Joey? I'll tell you the worst one.
Which one?
This fucking thing.
Oh.
This fucking bee.
I actually didn't have too bad of a time with this one.
I fucking hated this one. Because you have to rise with the honey.
Yeah.
But like all the animations are just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
There wasn't any boss that I was just like rage quitting at.
Yeah.
Everything was just which is why I was talking about the difficulty curve. When I beat every boss, it felt like it was just enough to like on my end to just beat them. I was like not full health, but I had played through enough where it was like just enough where if I had taken one more hit, I would have died.
Yeah.
But I'd learned it just enough to like get through. And if it was like lasted for like maybe 10 seconds longer, I probably would have died.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think is like genius about this game is that any casual players, first time or even second time playing it, the difficulty of the bosses is just hard enough where it feels like you've clutched every victory.
Yeah.
And that just feels so good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's not too difficult where it's like, this game is bullshit, but it's also not too easy where you get bored. You know, it's like they've straddled that perfect line where you get that sense of like, oh, thank God, every time you beat a boss. And it just keeps going like that as well.
I will say the first upgrade that I got and the only upgrade that I used was the invisible dash.
That's the most OP one.
And that's so OP.
It is OP.
It's very, very
That
OP.
just gives you iframes, and I was like, it made it so like I breezed through some of the bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the key to beating the game. It's
Yeah.
kind of the one.
So what? I just buy that one upgrade and I just don't change the upgrade at all because that was
That's the best upgrade. You normally buy upgrades for your guns, though. You
Okay.
buy upgraded guns, like you said, like the triple shot.
yeah.
So you normally
Boomerang shot as well.
Yeah.
That's one that you use quite a bit.
They used to have this exploit that they patched out, unfortunately, which I thought was fine. But basically, you can have two different guns, right?
Yeah.
So you used to be able to they used to have like you'd put two guns that were like heavy shots, but you could spam if you kept changing.
Oh,
So if you were spamming the change button, you could basically fire these long cooldown weapons constantly.
Yeah.
That's how I got you'd get through the game super fast.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know how long I can play this game because maybe it's just like old man Garnt, but after playing for like an hour and 10 minutes, the fleshy side of my fucking thumb was just starting to like ache a
doing
bit.
that, yeah.
No, I wasn't because you're just holding it, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like holding one button like for like a full hour because I was just constantly just shooting, and I was like, God damn, this is my hand's gonna like cramp up if I play for 4 or 5 hours. I swear to God. But yeah, honestly, I don't have too much to say about this. This was just a fucking great package overall. Great animation, fun gameplay. I'd probably be interested in beating the entire thing. Because
some of the later bosses are gonna be tough.
It's pretty fun though. It's
Yeah,
very, very
because I could have stopped at like about like 50 minutes because I was like, I got enough to get a gauge of this game. And I was like, I'll do one more boss. I'll do one more boss.
I haven't done the DLC. I should try the DLC.
I didn't even know there was a DLC.
I'm pretty sure there's DLC that came out, and I really want to do it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow. The delicious last course.
Yeah, and they had an animated TV show that I watched as well.
Oh, cool.
Is the story for this good? I did a Connor thing and I just skipped the.
I mean, the story is very
The
simple.
story's mid as far.
All right.
It's very, very simple.
Because I was like, I'm gonna do a pro Connor move, and I just skipped every cutscene.
Dude, the fight with the fucking Dice Man is so fucking cool.
Oh, that one is cool. Yeah.
I love this design.
Yeah.
Oh, this one.
This is so.
I've
cool.
seen this one on YouTube videos.
Yeah, dude, this fucking fight is so hard.
Yeah. It's
So
it's
cool.
so it's such a cool.
Look at the
concept,
animations though. God
Yeah.
damn.
though. So clean.
God damn.
Love it.
All right.
All right,
What a
dope.
game.
Hell yeah.
We're glad you
Alright.
liked it.
Yeah.
Glad to hear you liked it.
Right on.
Yeah. I think I liked everything that I watched. Or played.
We said that you had the easiest one.
Yeah, you had the easiest
Well,
one.
you could have like, I don't know. I feel like you guys could have like recommended other things. I would have done that.
But I wouldn't want to waste your time. I like you guys.
Well, Garnt certainly wasted our time.
Yeah, well,
So-
fuck you. Fuck you.
So
Fuck you.
I forced the boys to read Domestic Girlfriend.
I went out of my way when the day we decided that I had to read Domestic Girlfriend. I was like, you know what? I'm committed to this. I'm gonna go out and buy the physicals.
Yeah.
I went to 4 different book offs, couldn't fucking find it. Finally found it the next day at a 5th book off. So I bought the physical books for this. So I was reading the physicals. So you won't actually see what I am reading.
Yeah.
Because I'm just looking down the whole time. But every now and then I'll show a page.
Yeah, that's my facial
Yeah.
reaction.
And okay, look, so had you watched the anime at all?
No.
Okay, so I had seen the first 3 episodes.
Oh,
of the
I
anime.
don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had watched the first 3 episodes of the anime, which covers up until basically a little bit into volume 2. So I knew. So volume 1, I was kind of just refreshing myself, and then from volume 2 onwards was all new territory for me.
Yeah.
But man, this is one of those series where at the end of every single chapter, I just went, what what the fuck?
Yeah. I think I said what the fuck like 500 times.
Yeah, just every single chapter, there's just something. And also, oh wow, nice frame.
Oh, nice frame.
Yeah, right? There's so many titties in this shit.
Yeah, there are titties.
Also, okay, here's my question for you, Garnt.
Okay.
Am I supposed to be able to take this story seriously?
No.
Okay, good, because I didn't.
Okay, you the best way I can describe this is it is just the like in terms of like plot progression, just like the biggest fucking car crash you've ever seen in your life. It is basically like every soap opera on crack.
That's what I'm saying. So like whenever there was like a soap opera like twist moment in the story, it was so incredibly cliche that I just was like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, it was pissing me off.
It was pissing me off.
It was I got genuinely pissed off.
Yeah. I was like, this was such
question, do you like this?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you like this?
Just because it's just...
What on earth would you like about this?
Do you like it? Okay, here's a follow-up question. Do you like it unironically? Or do you like it because of the fact that it's ridiculous?
I like it unironically because of the fact that it is just a roller coaster of just some of like the wildest fucking shit you can find in like just like romance and in the romance and dramas genre.
Yeah.
And then, you guys probably didn't get to this point, but, later on, there is some genuinely good character writing in the manga, at least, but that doesn't come until, like, way later on after there's already been, like, 10 million car crashes.
See, I bought the first 4 volumes. I couldn't get past volume 2.
Dude, this is like School Days, like 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Nah, this is better than School Days, man. This is better than School Days.
Why can he just not stop fucking everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why does he want to kiss everyone?
So do you want to explain what you guys read?
Okay. So the premise is it starts off with our main character Natsuo.
Yeah.
Literally first page of chapter 1. He's just finished having sex with a girl of the same age called Rui. It backtracks. He meets this girl at like some kind of like party, I guess, kind of like karaoke party type of thing, where she doesn't want to be there. He's kind of like, yeah, this party's kind of lame. And then Rui goes, do you want to like just get out of here? And the guy was like, okay, sure. I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder, I might be able to smash, but that won't happen. That's so cliche. That's exactly what happens. Cause she's like, I wanna experience having sex. And you've never experienced it, so fair game. So that happens. Meanwhile, Natsuo, our main character, is in love with one of the teachers at his school, but obviously can't muster up the energy or the courage to confess. So it's like, okay, that's kind of cute. Whatever. We've seen that in anime hundreds of times. Meanwhile, as all of that is happening, Natsuo's mother has been dead for the past 10 years, and his dad is like, I'm thinking to get remarried. And Natsuo's like, yeah, all right, sure. Whatever, Dad, go for it. My mom's been dead for a while. You deserve happiness as well. All good. And then his dad's like, okay, thank God. Because the new, the woman I'm seeing right now, as well as her 2 children, are going to come and visit. Turns out those 2 children are the teacher that Natsuo has a mad crush on, and Rui, the girl he just fucked yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, they really set up the car crash right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could see why you liked it, because it was just a fucking mess.
Yeah.
This is my 90-Day Fiance. You know what I mean? Where you're where you're watching these characters go through a situation that clearly is not going to work, but you kind of
they're all just the worst.
They are all terrible.
But you're just so morbidly curious to see just how far will this go, and it just every chapter you end it and you're like, holy fuck.
It wasn't holy fuck. It was what the fuck.
yeah. So what were some moments that got you to go, what the fuck?
Okay, so for one, the one that just made me go, come the fuck on, was when Natsuo and Rui finds out that Hina, the teacher character, it has been in a relationship with a man who has been cheating on his wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Who
Yeah,
I guess is a teacher that Hina used to have.
Right, you're like, what the fuck?
So it's like the cycle continues.
Yeah.
And then Natsuo and Rui are like not cool with it, being like, what the fuck? You know, that's kind of fucked up. We need to get her. Well, Rui is like, well, I don't want to see my sister get hurt.
Yeah.
And Natsuo is like, I don't want to get cocked. So he's like, let's like stalk her and then confront them when they finally meet up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They finally do, and they're sitting in this cafe, and then they're trying to talk it out, and the guy's like, "No, I want to make sure that Hina is the happiest woman in the world." And then the part that made me go, "Come the fuck on," was when Rui just throws the water on him and then runs out, and I'm like, "Could you be any more fucking cliche?"
Yeah.
And then Natsuo like runs after her and then embraces her, and that's the end of the chapter. I'm like, "What the fuck?"
It was so calm. And then he was like, he was acting like he was her dad, being like, you can't do this.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're literally a kid.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
It's like, just because you're getting cocked does not mean you have the right to say all of this. And then for some reason in the next chapter, they like wake up and they have a really awkward breakfast. And then Hina's like, I've decided to split up with him. I'm like, that worked?
yeah.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh my
The part that
God.
made me go, oh, for fuck's sake, was
Yeah.
when they're like, this new Momo character gets introduced.
Oh, Momo.
Dude,
Yeah.
This whole thing was like pulling my hair out anger. So, you know, not only has he fucked his stepsister, he's and literally the chapter before this, he goes on a vacation essentially with his teacher stepsister, and they like embrace each other in the ocean and be like, I love you, we should date. And they're like, yeah, this is so real. And then literally the next chapter, this new girl called Momo gets introduced, and this guy goes, yeah, she's the school whore.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And you're like, well, there's no way that the main guy, I forgot his name.
Natsuo.
There's no way that Natsuo will just have proclaimed his love for this woman and has finally got what he wanted, and then immediately go on a date with her. And that's, of course, what he does.
Yeah.
Because she asks him out on a date immediately. And he's like, okay, sure. So they go to his house. And then, but the one thing that made me go, oh, fuck off, was when they're talking and he's like, oh, so how many guys you been with? Bear in mind, they're in like high school. She goes, like 30. I was like, oh my. 30. Name 30 people. I don't even know 30 people. What the fuck?
I didn't even have 30 classmates.
Yeah, but how did you fuck 30 people? Explain to me how you fucked 30 people. Explain the mechanics. I don't believe it. 10, I would have been like, wow, okay, that's quite the...
Yeah.
30. Well, you was 15 or 16, I don't know. No way. So I was like,
no, and then when all of that is happening as well, all of that is happening in the background of this Momo girl like slowly starting to fall in love with Natsuo because he's a nice guy who doesn't judge the fact that I'm a whore.
Although that
somehow
she has scars, and he's like so impressed that he doesn't like viscerally jump away.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and then so she's like she says to Rui, who I guess she befriends, is like, oh, does Natsuo-kun have a boyfriend? And Rui's like, a girlfriend? And he's like, no, I don't think so. And then he's like, oh, okay, I might advance on him then. And then Rui starts to get jealous.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought you were the one who was like, oh, let's forget about the fact we ever had sex. And then suddenly you turn around and you're like, no, actually, that's my man.
So yeah, and then she's like, can we just kiss?
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right. And he's like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Wait, is that the one where Hina catches them kissing as
Yes.
well?
Yes. You're like, she's like, can we kiss? He's like, all right. And you're like, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
And then where I was like, all right, I've had enough, was the chapter ended with I guess Momo was like giving Natsuo like lunch or something, and is like really starting to be like, oh my god, this man is a real fucking Chad, and I love him, and blah blah blah. Literally ends with like Momo being like, you want to have sex?
Yeah, and then I kept reading after that.
Okay, I didn't.
He goes over to her house, and she immediately is like, let's fuck. And he's like, all right. And you're like, why? Stop. And then he's about to have sex, and then she has scars, and he like doesn't recoil in disgust, and she's like so impressed by it. And he's like, put your clothes back on. I'm going to make you a meal. And you're like, this isn't noble. This is nothing noble about it. You're not a savior. And then she, for some reason, is infatuated by this. But you're thinking to yourself, like, okay, I can't suspend my disbelief this much because in the real world, this guy would be the biggest piece of shit that no one would be around.
Yeah.
So and then you're like, okay, well that's ridiculous. At least he didn't fuck her. There's at least one grain of salt that's like, okay, thank God. Yeah. Immediately, next chapter, they introduce a new girl.
Yep.
And you're like, what is this? What is this?
Wait, which is the new girl?
The literature club.
Oh,
girl,
her.
who's like,
her.
And the guy's like, you guys should kiss for literature. And she's like, all right. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do that. And you're like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. I was just getting, oh my God. It pissed me off. Everything pissed me off. And I kept reading until they went to like the festival where I guess I sped run this part because I was so tired of this bullshit.
Yeah.
That they were like, well, I guess, I don't really feel like I like you anymore. This is Momo to him.
Yeah.
She's like, nah, it'll be all right. She's like, I guess so. And you're like, what?
Just every character.
Stop fucking everyone.
Yeah, the thing that annoyed the shit out of me, and that I'm genuinely baffled of the fact that you of all people rate, is the fact that like every single character, every single thing they say and
is the dumbest thing possible.
Is the dumbest thing
Everything
possible.
is the dumbest thing
It's
possible.
like none of it makes if you had even half a brain cell in your head, you would not say or do half the shit that these characters do and say.
It's like the thing I do like about it is that it has just like the most like ridiculous plot progression you can think of. I mean, it's
But that's why I find it hard to take seriously.
Yeah, I mean, take in mind, like, I don't, you don't take this seriously, I mean, this is a series that starts off with a guy who fucks his stepsister.
Yeah, but
and then finds out that it's his stepsister.
But I think the part that pisses me off is that the manga frames it so that you should take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's like it frames
everything
it
has
as
to be like so serious.
Yeah, it tries to frame it as like a really serious, like human drama, like soap opera type of thing. But everything they do and say, I'm just like, this is a comedy skit.
That's what I love about it though. It's like the perfect mix of
this fucking scene that pissed me off so much. I'm like, you literally just went through a traumatic breakup after your fucking brother.
Like, I go on a rant here.
Everything you've just heard is why I love this series. Why I love watching people read this series so much. It's because there are so few series where you can get people to have such a visceral reaction where they're just like, I fucking look at this. Look at this shit.
Look at my facial. This is my reaction to when I saw this scene. Just because I wanted to. I just wanted to know how viscerally I reacted to this. Isn't this okay? No.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh no. The other part.
Oh, the suppository.
The suppository.
What the fuck was that, Garnt?
I couldn't fucking believe that scene. I was like,
I couldn't believe that scene when I first saw it.
I was like,
as well.
okay, they're setting it up to be like hee hee ha ha funny, like etchy moment.
Yeah.
And then he actually does it. And then he's just like, oh, thank God I didn't get hard. Like, the hell is wrong with you, bro?
I just like take it in. I just like go back.
This is
shaking your head.
Oh my God! This is
I remember
everything I hoped for.
This
one.
So
I want to see your reaction to this one. All right, let's see.
Oh, you're reading in your head, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my! That's awful. Oh.
It's just so bad.
It's just like,
I
bro.
got so angry.
Yeah.
You are filth. All of you are filth. I want nothing to do with any of you. I hope you return to the earth you came from.
And
I just got so angry. I got so angry. I hated it.
Yeah.
And what I will say is that, that's what I fucking love about it. Anger,
It's the worst thing I've ever read in my life.
Anger is still an emotion, and just like there are a few series like Domestic Girlfriend.
Okay, hang on a second. You can't use that argument because I've used the exact same argument for School Days and you're like, that's bullshit.
Also, School Days was boring for like most of it. Let's be honest, Joey. It only really got like super spicy in like the last 3 episodes where he started fucking everyone, and then before that he was just a fucking little wetbag being like,
Natsuo's a fucking wetbag as well.
No, he's a wetbag, but like the thing about Domestic Girlfriend is that, bro, reading
Domestic Girlfriend is like rewatching the last episode of School Days over and over and over again.
That's it. That is what makes it such a fucking roller coaster of a ride.
Have you even heard of a suppository being used nowadays? Why do they just have one?
I mean, it's more
around?
common in Japan.
It's much more common in Japan.
Why?
You'd be surprised how many fucking suppository scenes I've seen in anime.
Yeah,
man. far too many.
I've played way too many eroges that use suppositories.
Yeah.
It's like actually like worrying.
Yeah, I die. This is the thing, right? This is the thing that I find super interesting. Because we've talked about Domestic Girlfriend for like fucking 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like not once have you guys been like visibly upset about like the incest part. Because that's
that's the least of my worries.
Yeah, exactly, right? Everyone
is it incest?
Huh?
Is it incest?
It's not blood related.
Listen, it's not blood related. You know, I mean, like, I'm not concerned about that.
Hey, I didn't say that. Hey,
you know,
the Domestic Girlfriend effect, everyone.
I think it would have been a different case if they had became stepsisters and brothers and then done it.
Yeah.
So I think they laid it out in a way that made you feel
I don't know, man. I have a suspicion that's exactly what's gonna happen.
What do you think about the scene where Hino catches Rui kissing Natsuo?
What the fuck was his scene where he kissed her when she was drunk on the couch?
Oh my god.
That was the most cringe-inducing thing I've ever read.
Yeah, he was like,
she's passed out on the couch.
Yeah, and he phrases it like, I'm gonna end this once and for all. I'm like, what are you about to do? Stop.
Yeah, and he's like, I just gotta give her a kiss. Like, oh my.
Oh, what did you think? Okay,
and the scene where they kiss is like, but what was so frustrating about that is that like, again, he just admitted his love to her, to his older sister, Sucha. He then just goes with this whole Momo thing, kind of saves himself. He's like, all right, crisis averted. That's probably a bit, probably not great, but you managed to avoid it.
Yeah.
And then his sister goes, can I have a kiss? And he's like, all right. And then it's like, why? It's so annoying. Because like he works.
Yeah, it's like he saves himself and then he's like, whoops, just shot myself again.
He says he loved Sensei, always loved her, and then immediately clearly does the absolute opposite of what that would look like. So not only can you not trust this guy because everything he says is a fucking lie, for some reason he just can't help himself and he just kisses everyone all the fucking time.
And he just can't keep his lips away from any woman.
And then the sister who's just like, yes, and she's like, can I have another kiss? And he's like, all right. And then he's like, maybe we should stop. He's like, but I like kissing. And then you're like, why?
Actually, now that I think about it, who's the only character that I actually had sympathy for? Who? Natsuo's friend, who has to hear all this bullshit.
He listens to the shit. And he's like hearing Leonard and Nia being like, shit, that sounds crazy. That sounds weird though.
Yeah. And he's like constantly trying to teach Natsuo, being like, hey, maybe you shouldn't pursue that. Maybe you're getting yourself in a bad situation. And Natsuo's like, yeah, but you're a virgin. What do you know? And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, bro? Like,
he's actually the worst.
Natsuo is actually one of the worst main characters I've ever read. And that's saying a lot.
I don't think.
Bro, this has been so much fun.
I don't think that it's so weird because reading it, you're like, there's no way that like
this could get worse.
This can get worse. Yeah. But like also like, I feel like it's such a misunderstanding of male horniness. I mean, male horniness is so weird to begin with. But like, I mean, as much as I want to be like, that dudes wouldn't do this. Yeah. There's absolutely dudes.
Oh no, there are absolutely dudes that would do this. Yeah. I
and it's like, but I don't want to hear about those dudes. I don't want to see those dudes.
Well, this is like
they belong in the streets.
We do not claim them.
Like I said, this is a story about just the worst possible situations you can think of, and then it gets worse, and then just as you feel like, oh, maybe he can fix the problems, it gets he finds himself in an even deeper problem, and you'd like I remember when I read this, it was just a binge read because I just wanted to see how messy could this get? How fucking messy could this entire thing get? And it just never stops. Right up until the end.
Was it finished?
Huh? It's finished now. It's finished.
How many volumes is it?
I don't remember. Can you double check how many volumes of it? But like
20 odd
the ending of Domestic Girlfriend had me. There are a few manga that can get me like to fucking 28 that can get me to like scream out loud. I remember finishing Domestic Girlfriend and I was just like fucking screaming. I could not believe what I was reading. It was like I finished it at about 2 a.m. Sydney was like dead asleep and she had an important shoot the next day and I felt a bit bad, but also I woke her the fuck up so she could listen to like my half an hour rant about what I just read. and it is and
awful.
I'm addicted to this shit, man. This is seeing people's reaction to Domestic Girlfriend is the shit that I live for because
awful.
it is there are, you know, we've talked about a lot of things on this podcast, a lot of things we liked, you know, and it's just like yes, I enjoy this part of the game, I enjoy this part of the movie, but there is something that is just so fun about just seeing your mates have such a fucking reaction to...
It's so fucked up because out of all the things I think that both you and I consumed, we had the most visceral reaction to this.
Yeah.
But,
right?
you know, it was almost too much for me, though. As much as I want to keep reading, I hated everyone so much that I also don't
It was
really
patience testing. Yeah.
It was, for me, it was really like straddling that line of like, I hate everyone so much in this manga that I don't think I want to continue, but I do want to see where it goes. But the thing is, like, as much as I think that I do want to kind of keep reading it, but I don't think I will.
I don't think
too much.
I stopped at volume 2. I still do have volume 3 and 4, and there is a part of me that's like, I am kind of curious to know what's going to happen. But this is definitely one of those manga that I cannot binge.
But there's there's less fucking in like Bang Bros. You know what I mean? Like I like this is insane. The amount of fucking they do, or like the amount of kissing.
There's like more cliche drama than all the yaoi manga I've ever read in my life.
Oh no, it's like every cliche dialed up to 10 and just put all like every single chapter. I swear they finish on like a bombshell or some shit like that. Which I think is what makes this series like so hard to put down sometimes because you're like, I know what's gonna happen. Fuck, I know this is gonna go bad. Oh, but I kind of want to see how it turns out, though.
And then you're like, all right, let's see how this resolves. And then it resolves, and then it's like, here's another helping.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And to me, this is like...
I can't believe there's 276 chapters of this. I read 16.
There's 40.
Yeah.
40 chapters of this.
To be fair, a lot of the messiest parts are when he's in high school because we go straight up to fucking university and all that shit as well. And he gets his university arc and things are still messy, but
he's less stupid in university, I assume.
He's a little bit less stupid. And
Blood has been stupid for like 5-6 years straight.
It's Domestic Girlfriend. To me, there are actually genuinely good moments of like character writing later on in the manga. It sounds like I'm capping.
Yeah, Garnt. Garnt. You might not believe this, but I don't believe you.
Yeah. But I am being genuinely serious. But at the beginning, this was more of just I'm going to read Domestic Girlfriend because I want to see how big this car crash can go. And
you got a car crash.
Yeah, you got
a highway pile up.
Yeah, you really.
Yeah, and I realized, I was like, I couldn't understand for the longest time why people watch shit like 90 Day Fiancé, why other reality TV shows, and I read this and I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. It's like you see people in a doomed situation and you know it's doomed and you know how it's gonna play out, but you're just fucking curious. You're just morbidly curious to see how it really goes down. And I'm glad that's what we could end it on. Seeing, I barely needed to say anything for the last bit. It was.
I hate you.
Yeah, I do also hate you. I could have read anything else.
You know those like videos on the highway when they're like this fog and then the cars just keep slamming into each other because they can't see.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah,
it's just like another one, another girl.
You know, like the Blues Brothers when all those cars crash. That's
it's
what it
literally
felt like.
But every chapter is just that.
It's
You're
like,
Yeah,
all right.
man.
Well, that was us facing our fears. This was easily the longest Trash Taste episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, if you want to see, again, some of our full reactions, I'm definitely very curious to see their full reactions of reading Domestic Girlfriends. There were a lot of scenes that we didn't even touch on.
So many hours of content that you can watch if you want to go see.
Go over to our Patreon. We didn't even talk about fucking Natsuo walking on Hina touching herself for shit like that. Did you get to that scene?
No.
Oh, shit. Okay. That was later on in the manga.
But I believe that happened.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, honestly, that sounds like the tamest thing.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be like, oh, do you remember that scene when Natsuo walks in on Hina taking a shit? It's like...
Dreadful.
There's probably a scene like that in there as well.
Also dreadful.
I think the important thing you can take out of this is they read Domestic Girlfriend and now they're like, is it really incest though?
That's the least of my worries.
Well, it happened before.
Yeah.
I've seen enough.
But if they fucked after Garnt, then it's incest.
All right.
I've seen enough incest shows now where it just doesn't faze me anymore. But hey, if you want to again check out our full reactions to anything we talked about, then they're up right now on our Patreon. You can check it out by joining us at patreon.com/trashtaste.
Also, we are planning to do more of these kinds of episodes, but next time we are going to let you guys decide what we should read or watch.
All the blood is rushing back into my leg, and it hurts so much. Oh, it hurts so much.
But hey, if you want to suggest that for upcoming episodes and other fun Patreon participatory videos that we will be doing in the near future, as well as, of course, checking out all of our Patreon exclusive content and supporting the show in the process, then head on over to patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. But thank you for watching easily one of the longest Trash Taste episodes.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.